Loud, proud, at home in a crowd. As long as I'm not in a crowd of actual people, I'm John James, and this is Freedom's Pep Rally. 3 hours of unapologetic freedom, news, commentary. Great show, Mike, as always. Awesome. Can't wait for the Thanksgiving special tomorrow. Will there be turkey? If so, I will be in studio to break bread with you. That's what they call it, breaking bread, supping. Let's sup together as one, like the Pilgrims did back in the day. Were the Pilgrims good people or bad people? We know Columbus and all of his cohorts were bad, according to the Triggered. All horrible people. Pilgrims were okay, weren't they? I think they were. Didn't they have the first Thanksgiving, right? And I think the first Thanksgiving dinner, and this is where our national symbol came from. I think it was a butterball eagle. I believe that was on the first Thanksgiving Day menu. Butterballed eagle, some of Nana's candied yams, and pumpkin pie. And the protests were about the killing, the slaughter of pumpkins in that year. That was back in the 1600s. That was a while ago. Okay, that's long after. By the way, that's long after Columbus raped and pillaged people. Guy, if Italian Americans should be incensed by this, and they are. Many of them are. I know people who are Italian Americans. No, they're Americans. They have Italian heritage. We're all Americans. If we're here legally, if we have birthright or we came into the country legally, we're Americans. If you are an invader, you are not truly an American. I'm sorry. That's the rules. That's the rules. The rules were made up some 245 years ago. I didn't write the rules, but I certainly abide by them, and I encourage everybody to. And we've got some truth this morning. Oh, do we have a show for you? In fact, I can't wait to get to it. We have Nick Searcy coming up a little later on, and Chris Burgard. Nick Searcy, you might remember from The Shape of Water. That was an award-winning movie. Fried Green Tomatoes. How about that? You remember that? Nick Searcy. And he and Chris Burgard, who is an award-winning filmmaker, are releasing a movie, which you can now pre-order, by the way, at capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. Capital with an O. Capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. I'm going to play you the trailer here coming up in a little while. We'll have Nick and Chris on the air with us this morning at 10 o'clock. And I am excited about this. Let me tell you. Long been a fan of Nick Searcy. Just learning about the talents of Chris Burgard and the activism too, by the way. So this is good. We have some great Americans. Even in Hollywood, there are some great Americans. And we're starting to see more and more of them because they realize we're in peril right now. They realize we are at a crossroads in this country where if the majority don't stand up and start having a voice, if we don't start having a voice, we're going to lose it all. And I understand people are afraid of losing their job, their status in the community. They're afraid of being canceled. But would you rather lose one or all of those three things? Or would you rather lose your freedom to live your life as you so choose as an individual in capitalism, in a great country, in a non-racist country, by the way, except for the left who says you're racist all the time. They're actually the racists, and they lie. They lie. A lot of them don't know any better. A lot of them don't. Seriously, and I give them a little bit of a pass here. They are just so indoctrinated, and they are so led by false gods, the Democratic Party, who is going to save them. I heard Mike talking about universal basic income this morning. That's one of the means to the end. That's one of the many means to the end. Universal basic income. Everybody's like Oprah. Everybody you get money, you get money, you get money. What they don't tell you is, well, the money's eventually going to run out because the money comes from the taxes citizens pay. If citizens don't have to work and the government gives them money, eventually it's going to run out. They're clueless. They are, and I've heard nobody else say this, but please understand. These so-called intellectual people are as children. They don't understand cause and effect. All they understand is what the media and what the government, what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tell them. And they are more than willing to abide, because why on earth would such good people mislead me for power and control? No way. They are as pure as the driven snow. That's a big mistake right there. These people never grew up, or they grew up in a home that was so far left, they couldn't see anything on the horizon, in the moderate, in the center, or much less way over on the right. Where, and somewhere in the middle, I think to the right of center, somewhere in the middle to the right of center is where truth and harmony live. It doesn't live where they are on the left, the far left, the progressives, the communists, the Marxists. That's not where truth lives and harmony. All right, so we've got a lot to get into, and we're going to. Let's start out with, wait a minute, I've got to find I had to do a video on this time. This is something a little bit new. Again, no, it's actually brand new. This is the first day we do the video along with the audio for Today in History, just so you can see. Just if you're watching on video, just so you can see, it's a little added bonus for you here. So we will be right back after we take a look at a little bit of history. Please return, and please share the freedom, share the broadcast. We'll be.
And they started their dirty aggression against this country.
November 23, 2001. The UN War Crimes Tribunal says it will try former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic for genocide in Bosnia. It's the first time that a court links Milosevic to the murders of thousands of non-Serbs and the displacement of 250,000 people. Milosevic dies nearly 4.5 years later, while his trial is still in progress. 2004. In Ukraine, opposition leader Viktor Yushchenko declares himself winner of a disputed presidential election. He takes a symbolic oath of office while thousands of his supporters demonstrate in the capital, Kiev. Yushchenko wins a court-ordered revote the following month. 1936. Life, the weekly photojournalism magazine created by Henry Luce, the publisher of Time magazine, first hits newsstands. And 1903. Singer Enrico Caruso makes his American debut at New York's Metropolitan Opera House, appearing in Rigoletto. Today in History, November 23rd. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
All right, welcome back. Freedom's Pep Rally is in your face and on the radio. Yes, I know I stole that from, who'd I steal that from? Isn't that awful? I can't even remember. I've just come to the conclusion. Yesterday afternoon, I came to the conclusion I'm actually losing my mind. I'm afraid I am losing my mind. Because I can't remember the simplest of things. I can't remember where I stole that from. On the air and in your face. Da 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 da. I hear the song right. Da 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 da. Okay, I'm blank. Hey, we are all over the place, by the way. If you want to find us, We are at legacy1160.com. You can get the audio by clicking on Listen Live, brought to you by the Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. You can go over to the App Store, Google Play, or the Apple Store. You can download the free app, brought to you by Hardy Wolf and Downing, Maine's injury lawyers, 1-800-INJURED, hardywolf.com. You can watch the video all over the place. We're legacy1160.com via Rumble, so we aren't going to get canceled. I love that. We're also on YouTube, vk.com. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We are at getter.com. We are at cloudhub.com. Where else? YouTube. So we're all over the place. And that is all powered by Moody's Collision Centers with locales throughout the great state of Maine. Again, coming up, we have Chris Burgard and Nick Searcy at 11 o'clock this morning to talk about the forthcoming documentary. It's a documentary, People Who Were There. I am so excited about this. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Right America Media, who we are proudly associated with, for getting us these great guests. On Thanksgiving Day, you can pre-order now. $10. It's $10. It's a documentary. It will show you what was happening on the ground. Real stories from real people who were there at the Capitol on January 6th. See the lies you've been told brought to light. Now, I know a lot of people on the left are going to say, screw that, because you don't want to see the truth. You just like the narrative that Joy Reid gives you, the insurrection, and Nora O'Donnell give you. Yes, even Nora O'Donnell. I've got a little Nora coming up here shortly. You'll get to hear her talking about it. And it's perfect timing, too, because I think she did this last night on the CBS Evening News. And today we've got the guests who are going to unleash the truth on America. Tucker Carlson already did, to an extent. Tucker Carlson already did with Patriot Purge. You can see that for free right now, too, if you look for it. It's on a video website. I can't remember where I found it. But Patriot Purge, it's about an hour and a half. And it uncovers a ton, because there are outlets out there that want you to see the truth, and there are many more that don't want you to see and understand the truth. But we've got to understand the truth so we can fight the lies. And the lies are copious. There are many lies out there, and we have to stand and fight them. We want to do this. We want to save this experiment called America without violence. We really do. But how far can they push us before we have to do something bad? And we don't want to do it. We want to talk. We want to convince people that this is not right. Stop being sheep. Please stop being sheep. Now, tomorrow, I don't think we're going to have time today. Dr. Robert Malone he's one of the inventors of the mRNA vaccine. And he says, and he knows, and I've got a couple of websites I'm going to give you. I've written them down here. You can check these out today. GlobalCovidSummit.org, I believe, is one, and UnityProjectOnline.org. And they are using the vaccine. Now, the vaccine does help in many comorbidities, high-risk people. The vaccine does help. I'm not saying that. Nobody is spreading misinformation about the vaccine, except the ones on the left who are saying it's the cure-all for everything. The vaccine does not stop the spread of the virus. It does not stop you from getting the virus. That is a lie that they are trying to push on you. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! We're here. We know what's going on. Robert Malone tells you all about the dangers that we are faced with totalitarianism. And it's coming. It's already rearing its ugly head in places like Australia. Have you read about what's going on in Australia? Of course, they don't have guns in Australia, do they? No, they don't. That's one of the big differences between here and there. In Austria, You don't have freedom unless you get jabbed. You don't have freedom. And nobody's talking about the other ways, the other prophylactics, the other treatments for the disease. Nobody, because there's no money in that. You understand? You've got to wake up. People need to wake up. We need to wake them up. You need to share shows like this, shows like Mike Violette's, other shows, other websites that preach the truth. Check Rumble for your videos, not YouTube, not Facebook. They ban and censor things. Rumble so far has been great. No complaints. Except it's a little more work to get up every day, but beyond that, it's worth the effort. And that's on me, not you. You have nothing to do with that. All right. So we've gotten off to a rip-roaring start here. And again, the freedom is unapologetic, in case you didn't notice that already. It's 9:19 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Let me start the show by giving you a preview of what we have coming up at 10 o'clock with Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard. A couple of great men. They were in Washington, and they got people on the ground. This is going to be amazing. This documentary, Capital Punishment, is going to be amazing. This is must see. I would not miss this. I want you to see this. I want every patriot out there to see this. I would love for everybody on the left to see this and understand the truth. The truth that you are being lied to about. MSNBC, Chuck Todd, CBS, ABC, CNN, they lie. They are propaganda. They get money from Bill Gates and George Soros. They get money. They are no longer journalists. They are in it to win it. And they don't have a care in the world about you or me. So I want you to watch this trailer. And if you're listening, I want you to hear it. There's a lot of good dialogue in this trailer for Capital Punishment, which comes out on Thursday. And you're actually going to see a glimpse of Ashley Babbitt marching and talking in this trailer. And this is the movie I'm talking about that you've got to see. Capital Punishment. Here we go.
Wait. This is treason.
Where's mom? Officer, I can't breathe. I can't hear you.
And hey, man. I'm Nick Searcy. On January 6, 2021, I went to Washington, D.C., along with multitudes of other Americans because we believed that the election was stolen. I saw with my own eyes what happened that day. And what they show you on the media doesn't tell half the story.
Here's the Capitol, and here's people going in there. They didn't show all of this out here.
Did I tell you I have claustrophobia?
I saw people of all colors, races, creeds, Asian Americans for Trump, blacks for Trump. I even saw a guy wearing a shirt that said fags for Trump. And since I'm from California, I knew that guy.
We're from Iowa.
Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm here standing with my fellow patriots. We all standing for America.
Despite what the media tells you, boots on ground definitely say something different. There is a sea of nothing but red, white, and blue patriots.
These are damn working people right here. They want their country back.
We're marching for the Constitution. We're not. It ain't really about Trump. It's about us now. They're attacking us, and we're tired of it.
We had a foreign attack, and they had domestic support. This is about individual liberty. We don't believe the media. We don't believe you. We have no faith in our institutions.
The FBI is now being sent out by Joe Biden to punish people.
We're at war. They're hunting down Trump supporters like dogs.
You say that again. We're at war.
147 days since my wife was murdered, executed.
The FBI, you have a federal search warrant for the property. Come out with your hands.
Step out, I have red dots all over my chest.
They broke the door down. Hands up, put your hands on the wall, hands up.
I was in jail for 4 straight days. I kept banging on the door saying, I have never had a phone call.
The 6th was all deception.
The level of sophistication and tactic is immense.
Oh, I recognize you from Portland. I've seen people from Portland here, Antifa.
I was paid to pretend to protest.
We need to come together as Americans again and remember why we started this country.
An insurrection? Without arms? What are they talking about? And why are they lying?
If all you have is the media truth, the media spin, you don't know the truth. You do not understand the truth. Many do not want to hear the truth. They like to comment on posts. They like to laugh, put laughy smiley faces on posts like I did about this movie this morning. A couple of people who I know are libs put laughing faces, laughing emojis on there. That's okay. That's okay. You keep drinking the Kool-Aid. You keep the head in the sand or your head up the proverbial sphincter. You do whatever you want, but the truth is the truth. The truth will keep us free. Nothing else will. You go ahead, you follow along, you be the sheep, but don't expect us to have your back when the SHTF, you understand? Capital Punishment, the movie. Get it. Reserve it. Get it right now. $10. CapitalPunishmentTheMovie.com, and it's capital with an O. I know people frequently, including me, frequently misspell that. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it right up on the screen right now so you'll be able to see it. And again, if you're listening, it's CapitalPunishmentTheMovie.com, capital with an O. But there you go. Must see. If you want truth. Maybe you don't want truth. There are people out there that don't want truth. They love the Kool-Aid. They love the Kool-Aid. They love the fact that the Democrats, the progressives, love to cater to every tiny, infinitesimal, marginalized group on earth. Every boy wants to wear a dress. Sure, he can go in the girls' room if he identifies as a girl. Not with my daughter in there, he can't. I said he. There are two genders, he, she. He's a he, she's a she. He's still got junk. You aren't getting anywhere near my daughter in the girls' room. A girl got raped in Loudoun County, Virginia. When a boy in a dress decided, what could possibly go wrong? Stop catering to marginalized groups. Special rights aren't rights. They are not rights. They should not be rights. The rights are outlined in the Constitution. Those are your rights. Science says there are only two genders. Pick one. And until you are completely and totally convincing as the gender you want to be, you stay away from the girls' room and my daughter if you're a male. This ain't happening on my watch, my friend. My daughter's out of school now, but I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's at a stadium, a theater. I don't care where it is. No. I can tell you when this starts out, I believe there are more, the silent majority, I think many people on the left are appalled by that as well. I really do, but they have to go along to get along. We have to agree. You know, the left says we've got to be compassionate, inclusive, tolerant to everybody. How about Christians? How about Christians who want to see God allowed in the schools? How about Christians who want to see the American flag displayed correctly in the classroom and not thrown off to the side while kids are told to pledge allegiance to the pride flag? Yes, it has happened. How about that? There are still morals and standards in this country, whether you believe in them or not. And you aren't in any position to dictate what the free people do. You don't want to be free? Fine. Don't be free. Don't be free, but get the hell out of the way, because we're going to be free. And we want to do it with as little confrontation as possible. We really do. We don't want to fight. We aren't nasty. We aren't violent, but don't push a free man or woman too far. Insurrection. Can you even believe it? Insurrection. Okay, we've got to take a break here. I'll be right back with Nora O'Donnell. This mainstream media, these people are such horrific liars. I will prove to you again, as if you need any more proof, that we are not dealing with adults here. We are dealing with propaganda, non-journalist media. The word journalist is dead. Journalism is dead in America. I will prove it to you once again next. I'm John James, proudly Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
If you love to shop, whether it's for yourself or for others, you've got to visit Townline Antiques. With new items arriving nearly every day, you never know what treasure you may stumble upon. Whether it's vintage signs, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, books, comics, artwork, or classic electronics, you're always sure to find something that tickles your fancy. Plus, there's lots of great furniture, glassware, and household goods. And their vintage Christmas booth is now fully stocked with many wonderful items. If you're looking for ornaments, lights, stockings, figurines, or any other holiday decor, you've got to stop by and shop this dazzling selection. You'll also find Santas galore with dolls, pictures, ceramics, and more. Or how about a classic Christmas toy like a teddy bear or a truck? Townline Antiques is a great place to find that truly one-of-a-kind gift or treat yourself to a trip through some wonderful memories with a present for yourself. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Dry and colder today. Highs will just be in the mid to upper 30s with partly to mostly sunny skies. Will be breezy with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and breezy tomorrow. Highs a little warmer, around 40 degrees. We'll get you around 50 on Thanksgiving with mostly sunny skies, more rain and some inland snow possible Friday.
All right, welcome back, Lexi O'Connor, to the show here. Legacy 1160 WSKW, 10 o'clock. Actor Nick Searcy, movie maker, producer, director, Chris Burgard, Capital Punishment, coming on Thursday. Order now at capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. That's capital with an O, capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. And you can spell it with an O. Did I say that? I think I did. I said that. You can order it now. Watch it on Thanksgiving Day. I'd rather watch that than see the Detroit Lions get beaten anyway. And besides, football, I know people love sports and stuff, but I am so over sports with all the protesting and all. LeBron James, the frickin' billionaire, trillionaire, China-loving James, has nothing but criticism for Kyle Rittenhouse. Shut up. Shut up. Go back to your mansion and suck down a martini. Take care. Nurse those sore muscles. I saw a great meme yesterday, by the way. The difference between Kyle Rittenhouse and LeBron James, Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't miss his shots. Hey, well, Truth hurts, doesn't it? The truth hurts. It's 9:32 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Okay, Norah O'Donnell. Norah, so what is this woman all about? What are any of these, whether it's David Muir? You got David Muir, you got Norah O'Donnell, you've got Lester Holt, you've got Chuck Chudd, you've got Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, you've got raging racist Joy Reid, raging racist Junior, Joy Reid Jr., what's her name there, Tiffany Cross. They're all a bunch of mooks. All of them are mooks. They're all mook-worthy. Here's Norah O'Donnell last night on CBS.
Here in Washington tonight, the House committee investigating the deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol is subpoenaing Trump allies Roger Stone and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. They're among those who allegedly helped plan and finance rallies that led up to the attack on the Capitol. Both Stone and Jones spoke at demonstrations near the White House on January 5th and 6th. That was the day of the insurrection.
The day of the insurrection! Okay, I know what the definition of These people are such children. Grow up, Norah, little Norah. Grow up, Norah. You want a milk cookie and maybe a what do they call those? A Lunchable? Would you like a Lunchable for your lunch today? Would you like a Sun Pack? For a drink, a little fruity drink with a straw? Look, Norah, it comes with a straw. And then you can go back to your toys and play insurrection. Oh, boy, they'll go into the White House and they'll take over the government and they'll shoot it up and they'll just destroy everything. They'll destroy our society. Come on, Norah. Come on, raging racist Joy Reid, little Joy. You go back to playing insurrection, okay? You go right ahead. Have fun. But first, you've got to eat your lunch. Eat it all. Here comes the airplane. Open wide. They're children. They are children. Okay, I'm going to read you the definition of insurrection. Just because I want to read it, I know what it means, and I just want to read it right out of the dictionary so you can follow along and see that it has absolutely nothing to do with what happened on January the 6th. Okay, dictionary.com, pretty reasonable source, I think. An act or instance of rising in revolt, rebellion, or resistance against civil authority on an established government. Insurgency, uprising, mutiny. Where was it? Where was this big uprising? It was people broke into the Capitol. It was mostly peaceful. 4 people were killed, including Ashley Babbitt, who you saw in the trailer, including Roseanne Boylan, who was pummeled. She was pummeled by Capitol Police. And there were 2 others who died. One guy had a situation from some kind of a grenade, concussion grenade. And another one fell to his death. All Trump supporters. And they still call it an armed insurrection. It was not an overthrow of a government. Believe me, had it been a mutiny or an insurrection, you would have known. No, AOC, I know you were crying when you thought AOC's life was in danger. I get it. She was triggered. She was hiding behind the door in her bathroom in an office building. And she was looking out between the hinges, and she was so scared she was going to die. When actually nobody was even near there. It wasn't even in the Capitol. But she did a 60 or 90-minute made-for-Hallmark TV movie all by herself. She played every role in the movie. She played the victim mostly. Oh, she was a great victim. Unscathed, but thought she was going to die. And then she said Ted Cruz is trying to kill her. Children, they are children. It wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't a revolt. It was people Did you see the crowd in the trailer? Did you see that enormous crowd? Juxtapose that to the number of people who were actually in the Capitol. Very few, and they weren't all Trump supporters. We're going to talk to Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard about that when they're on with us at 10 o'clock this morning. I heard a mention of Antifa being there. We know the FBI was somehow involved. We should know more after this interview at 10 o'clock. If you have any questions you want me to ask, go ahead and put them down, and I'll try to remember to answer them. Casey says, I'd rather go hunting with Kyle Rittenhouse than Alec Baldwin. Well placed. That's very sad. You know, that's unfortunately the best humor is derived out of reality, right? And it's very sad, undeniably, what happened to the young woman on the set of Rust. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, I want you to hear something. Famed attorney Gloria Allred has said something that I have been saying, and I want you to hear it. Listen to this. Everybody, oh, poor Alec Baldwin, poor Alec Baldwin. What have I maintained? Do you remember what I've been saying all along? I have said Alec Baldwin has to have culpability because he is the last person to handle the prop gun, which wasn't a prop gun. It was a real Colt revolver. He has to have culpability because he is the last one to hold it. He is the first one to have to shoot it on the set because he is the star of the movie. So he has a duty. He has a duty as a responsible gun possessor. You don't have to be a gun owner if you are in possession of the gun. Listen to me here. This is rule number one. This is my rule number one for having a gun in your hands. You are ultimately responsible if it fires while you are in possession of it. Therefore, you have culpability. You need to know guns. You can't just use them to make millions and millions and millions of dollars and not know anything about being safe with them, or you shouldn't if you are a good human being. So I have said that Alec Baldwin's got some culpability here. He was the last one to have the gun. He fired the gun. He should have safety checked the gun because he was the one who had it last. Okay, so here is famed attorney Gloria Allred. Listen.
Mr. Baldwin should have assumed that the gun in question was loaded unless and until it was demonstrated to him that it was not, or checked by him that it was not loaded. Even if the assistant director made an alleged statement to Mr. Baldwin that the gun he was handing to Mr. Baldwin was a, quote, cold gun, end quote, Mr. Baldwin should not have relied on such a statement.
Oops. Did that make sense? What is number one rule of gun safety? Number one, this is of the three rules if you're NRA, 4 rules for 3 or 4 rules anyway. And the first one is every gun is loaded until you prove or check that it's not. Every gun, actually, I added to that. Assume every gun is loaded. Now, I understand for movies, you know, you have to point guns, you have to shoot guns, you shoot blanks. I get that. But if you're holding the gun, I don't care what it's supposed to be. I don't care who told you or how many people told you it's not loaded. When I'm handed a gun in Cabela's or at the gun shop in Augusta to look at and dry fire, that's firing with nothing in the chamber. They hand me the gun. And what do? They've already checked it, by the way, and they give it to me with the chamber open, the slide open or the cylinder open. What do? The very first thing I do is safety check it because I'm holding the gun. It's my responsibility, Alec. Don't try to blame other people. Stop it. Stop it. You are responsible for unintentionally, I'm sure, killing that young woman on the set of Rust. And there you go. Do I need any more proof? I don't. I mean, that's the way it is. I know enough about guns to know the rules of gun safety. Trust me on this one. 944 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Good luck. I've got to say good luck to Mike Perkins. Mike Perkins, a great guy, owns KMD Driving School. He's a Republican legislator. He's a congressional candidate, and he's got COVID-19. He's in the hospital with COVID-19, a Maine general. Said he'd been feeling poorly for a couple of weeks now, according to the Kennebec Journal. All of a sudden, it hit me. I felt like I get hit by a tractor trailer. Then the truck backed up and hit me again. So he's weak. He's feeling weak right now. And he said he never got a vaccination for COVID. Oh, well, he deserves it then. Stop it. Just stop. Just stop. I know the leftists will say, well, he deserves it. I've heard it before. I've heard when people die, well, he didn't get vaccinated. There are people who are fully vaccinated who are dying. Okay, should I repeat that, or did you hear it the first time? There are people who are double vaccinated who are dying of COVID. Maybe not as many, but they are. So here's the deal. If you listen to the rest of the story, and I know leftists will say, no, he deserves it, and they'll just shut out everything that comes after. But the deal is, last year he had Bell's palsy, an unexplained episode of facial muscle weakness or paralysis, and his doctor thought he should wait a year for the vaccination in case it impacted the palsy. And he says, when you're an old and fat guy like me, you don't want to be, you don't want to risk making your face even worse permanently. So he got a great sense of humor. Mike's a great guy, and we certainly wish him well. And it's sad it happened, and it had nothing to do with the fact that he's anti-vax, because he's not. In fact, he would have gotten it had he not had that episode of Bell's palsy, I'm sure. I'm certain he would have. His doctor recommended against it. You listen to your doctor. It's 9:46 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. FBI SWAT team has now raided Merrick Garland and the very controlling DOJ. FBI SWAT team raided the home of an activist mother of 4 in Colorado on November 16th. They knocked down her door, they burst into the house with guns, and they handcuffed her while she was homeschooling her kids, according to WND. This is the first known case of the federal government making good on its promise to not only intimidate, but actually carry out and raid homes where there are activist parents who stand up against critical race theory and gender theory and all the rest of the crap. Now, this woman was involved with her local school board politics, said Brandon House, who interviewed Sharona Bishop at Lindell TV on Wednesday. I imagine Mike Lindell is involved in that somehow. U.S. Department of Justice Attorney General Merrick Garland issued that October 4th memo directing federal, state, and local law enforcement to look for parents to prosecute nationwide who may have made threats and made harassing phone calls to school board members nationwide, equating parents to domestic terrorists. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to scare. Again, this is part of the game plan. This is part of the, you got the football game plan, the X's and O's, and the fancy lines going from, this is what it is. This is the leftist game plan. Strike fear in as many people as you possibly can. Whether it's the DOJ striking fear in parents, it's Dr. Fauci and the mob striking fear in people that COVID's going to kill them, so they're wearing masks, walking around outside, driving alone in their cars. Still, to this day, the fully vaccinated, still wearing a mask. We're going to die. Hey, listen, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. Going to happen. You're going to live your life in fear. That's what the government wants. Understand, that's what they want. They want you to live in fear. What has happened to most all of the combatants last year, and I do mean it literally, combatants across the country, destroying police precincts, occupying cities, killing cops, looting stores, destroying stores. What happened to most of those combatants? Well, they're free now. Most of them are. Most of them are free. Many of them were bailed out by George Soros and Kamala Harris. They were. What does that tell you? Have you seen the smash and grabs going on? California, stores just completely cleared out. Mobs go into stores, steal everything. Where are the police? Oh, defund the police. Sure. And virtue signaling Gavin Newsom in California goes out there, we will not stand for this. We're going to stand the police. You want to defund the police, you Barbie, you Ken doll moron. Oh, but they love you, don't they? Oh, you're such a Rico Suave. They reelected you over a great American who could have done a hell of a lot better than you. A black American, in fact. Larry Elder. But no, you won because you're charming. You can afford to go to the French Laundry and go without a mask while the rest of the population is locked down in their homes with masks on and spend thousands of dollars on meals and drinks and laugh and cavort with the people. And they love you so much, they reelected you. And now you're crying and whining because smash and grab is going on in San Francisco. Why? Because the criminals are emboldened by last year's, oh, we'll look the other way as they go out and they riot and they kill and they maim and they burn. In Kenosha, in Atlanta, in Seattle, in Portland, in New York, in Chicago. We'll look the other way. But January 6th comes, they can't take their eye off the prize. That's the big one. There are still people locked in prison who did nothing other than walk in through the Capitol because they are trying to strike fear into the hearts and minds of those who would go against a tyrannical government. The people that rioted and killed all last year. They're the dangerous ones, but they are also complicit with the left for totalitarian takeover. That's the name of their game. That's what they are. They are, in fact, fascists. It's unbelievable what is happening in this country, and there are people looking the other way, and you know who they are. They are right, thank you, the congregation, the Kool-Aid drinkers, the lemmings, the followers who think it's all good as long as we take care of the 2 or 3 marginalized people in this group and the 3 or 4 marginalized people in this group. To hell with the Christians, to hell with the freedom-loving Americans. As long as we take care of these little splinter groups and give them special rights, the government will be happy with us. And that's what we want to do. We want to make Joe and Kamala smile, because they're going to take care of us. They're going to take care of us when we're born all the way till we die. They'll pay for our education. They'll pay for our medical care. They'll pay for our food. Why, they'll even give us a guaranteed basic income until the money runs out. Don't be fooled. This is all means to ends. This is all part of Saul Alinsky's game plan. Make no mistake about it. They are reading Rules for Radicals more and more, and they are acting it out there. I read you some of the rules yesterday. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Form your community group. Choose an enemy. Keep the pressure on them. What are they doing? What are they doing with the complicit mainstream media? That's exactly what January 6th turned into. It turned into an example that they can use to strike fear in the hearts of men and women across this country. Look, even though all Trump supporters, all there to support Donald Trump, 4 people were literally killed. Roseanne Boylan, Ashley Babbitt, and 2 others. You saw Ashley Babbitt marching when I played you the trailer earlier to capital punishment. They are putting fear. So if you so much as go near the Capitol building without permission, we're going to call it an insurrection and we're going to lock you up in solitary confinement for as long as we need to. But if you go out and riot on the streets, burn police precincts, kill people, shoot people, you want to crash through the border, we'll put you up in a hotel. I saw a story on the news last night, on local news, on Channel 6. It was a very long story on News Center, Woke Center, about the asylum seekers. We're having a hard time finding where to put them. Well, duh. Duh. What did you think was going to happen when you put out the welcome mat in a state that can't afford to take care of its homeless or its homeless veterans? You put out the welcome mat like the former mayor of Portland, Ethan Strimling, did. Welcome. Come on in. Bring them on. Bring them on. And so they come. They come. They aren't going to Martha's Vineyard. They aren't going to Wilmington, Delaware. Whoa. No, you stop right there. They aren't going anywhere near Gavin Newsom or Nancy Pelosi's house. No. She's got I swear she's got an iron fence around her stainless steel freezers where she keeps all of her gourmet ice cream. Let me tell you something about her. You're going to love this. You are going to love this. I just read this. Let me see if I can find it right here. This is unbelievable. All right, can we let's go ahead and put up the photograph, shall we? Okay. All right, you see that? You don't have to have me in the background there. Let's kill the camera. All right. So look at this picture right now, and take down the caption just for a minute, if you would. Okay, do you see that picture? I want you to take a good look at that picture, and I want you to tell me, number one, whose house that is, and where it is. And the answer may blow your mind. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Time's up. Okay, let me tell you a little background story about this house here and about the person who owns it. With a little help from the power structure and insider information, plus bennies that you and I don't get because we're peasants, Nancy Pelosi has made a very telling investment in this house. It's an 11,000 square foot, $25 million mansion. Her second home, at least her second home. I have no idea really how many homes she has. So this is Nancy Pelosi's new $25 million mansion on the ocean in Florida. What could... Think about this. Think about this. So she gets away from the exorbitant taxes of San Francisco maybe when she retires and doesn't mind being led by Ron DeSantis, who she excoriated for the past year and a half. Oh, and she apparently isn't too worried about the rising oceans, which, according to AOC and Bernie, will have everything underwater in a few years. Hey, progressives, the haves are laughing at you, the have-nots, as you intentionally push for things that make you poorer, like sustainable electricity and no more fossil fuels. You're actually helping those in power get richer and more powerful. Nancy and the gang, well, they've got a message for you. They would like to say thank you. Thank you so much for being useful idiots. Do I hear you're welcome? All right. We'll be back. This is going to be good. We've got Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard coming out. We're going to be talking about Capital Punishment, themovie.com. That's where you want to get reserve your $10 right there. Comes out on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day. It's Capital Punishment, themovie.com, capital with an O. And we will have Nick and Chris coming up right after the news. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Hi, this is Teresa Smith, Assistant Dean of Enrollment at Kennebec Valley Community College. After nearly 30 years at the college, rarely a day goes by that I don't run into someone who tells me they graduated from KVCC or that their son, daughter, wife, or cousin went to KVCC. What a privilege it is for me to work somewhere that has such a positive impact. KVCC offers the training people need to enter high-demand, high-paying jobs while keeping the cost of education low. Whether you want to earn a degree or just need short-term training to learn a new skill, KVCC's got you covered. Our spring semester starts on January 10th, and I would really love it if you were the next person to say to me, hey, don't you work at KVCC? Please check us out online at kvcc.me.edu or call 453-5822. That's 453-KVCC.
If you love to shoot guns or just like to keep those skills up to par, you just need to put some rounds down range. At Economy Guns and Indoor Range at 81 Main Street, Madison, you can. No matter the weather, no matter the day. Beautiful, well-ventilated indoor range downstairs, a gun shop upstairs. One stop does it all. Forgot to bring targets? No worries. They've got those too. And when you go in, make sure you say hi to Rosie. Economy Guns and Indoor Range on Main Street, Madison. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Sunday, 10 to 2.
Hi, my name is Tony Esposito, and I am happy to announce the grand opening of Dover Ford in Dover Foxcroft. Never again will you have to drive to Bangor to find a good selection of new and used vehicles at highly competitive prices. We have over 200 quality pre-owned cars and trucks ready for your driveway and a direct pipeline to the manufacturer to get you whatever new Ford you have been looking for. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, then come on over to Dover Ford in Dover Foxcroft. We have 0% interest on all new F-150s, and nobody will pay you more for your trade-in. At Dover Ford in Dover Foxcroft, we believe good business is creating good relationships with our customers and the community we live in, and we look forward to getting to know you. So come on over to Dover for the best car deal in Central Maine or visit us at doverford.com. We can't wait to meet you.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Dry and colder today. Highs will just be in the mid to upper 30s with partly to mostly sunny skies. Will be breezy with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and breezy tomorrow. Highs a little warmer, around 40 degrees. We'll get to around 50 on Thanksgiving with mostly sunny skies, more rain and some inland snow possible Friday.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Em Lynn. In an attempt to bring down high gas prices, President Biden is set to release a stockpile of oil later today.
50 million barrels is what we're hearing he's going to release. The presidents in this country have only released this emergency supply a handful of times in recent decades.
Rebuttal arguments will be held today in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Then the jury will begin deliberations.
A great deal has been said about this jury, that all but one of the 12 members are white. And this afternoon, they may finally start debating whether the three men accused of murder murder in this racially explosive case will ever walk free again.
ABC's Steve Osunsami. The driver accused of plowing his SUV into the Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, is now charged with 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. The daughter of Malcolm X was found dead in her Brooklyn home on Monday. Malika Shabazz was 56. Police say her death does not appear to be suspicious. This is ABC News. Warnings from the jury deliberating in the civil lawsuit brought against organizers of the so-called Unite the Right rally 4 years ago in Charlottesville. They may not be able to come to a unanimous decision. 9 people are suing the white nationalist organizers of the rally over the injuries they suffered. Another lawsuit after the surge at a concert in Houston that left 10 dead. 2 people who worked in security are now going to court.
Samuel and Jackson Bush, an uncle and nephew, say they were hired the morning of the concert.
I was trying to help out as much as I could, and I wound up getting hurt.
Samuel Bush says he broke his right hand and injured his back. Jackson Bush says he suffered shoulder and back pain plus emotional trauma.
It was because I was hurting so much, but it was like, dang, I keep begging the fans, I'm like, can I please help you out? Can I please help you out? And they didn't want to be helped. They wanted to see Travis.
The Bush's attorney, Larry Taylor, says they'll be looking into why the security companies weren't prepared. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
MWin, ABC News.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big when you call 8338-ROCKET today. For example, with a $250,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, you could get a new low rate under 3%. If your current rate is over 3.75%, you could lower your payment by over $100 a month, saving thousands in interest. But you've got to act now, because no one knows how long these low rates will last. So when you need a simple way to get big savings, Rocket can. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket.
Refinance offer assumes a rate of 2.99%, 3.21% APR, 70% loan-to-value ratio for the cost of 1.75 points. $4,375 due at closing. Monthly payment of $1,052.66. Taxes and insurance not included. Payment will be greater. Rates current as of 7/26/21. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Good morning. Welcome back. Hour 2. Freedom's Pep Rally, right here on the air and in your face. Legacy 1160 WSKW, along with Right America Media. Ready for a big interview right now. I am pleased to welcome to the show a couple of guys who are great patriots, great American patriots, and they know the truth. And soon you will. About what happened on January 6th. No, it was not an armed insurrection, as Joy Reid and Chuck Todd and Nora O'Donnell and the leftist media want you to think. It wasn't. It was a protest that paled in comparison to everything that happened all last year on the streets of America's greatest and biggest Democratic-run hellholes. And now we are pleased to welcome Nick Searcy is here, and Chris Burgard. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing well, thanks, John.
It's great to see you, and it's great to see you both. Now, of course, you know, we've seen you all over the TV, Nick, and in the movies. Fried green tomatoes, man, I got to tell you.
Every few years I get a job. That's about it.
That's great. And you guys are both patriots. Have you worked together quite a bit?
Sure. We started doing stuff together probably 15, 20 years ago. And then we did a little series for fun that called Acting School with Nick Searcy, which was all about what it's like to be a big star like me. And everything kind of flowed from there. We wound up doing an ad for Herman Cain in 2012 that kind of went viral. And then, we found a way to work together and make a little money. So
That's good. Good for you, and thank you so much for what you're doing. We ran the trailer earlier on video, and people could hear it too. But seeing is really understanding the magnitude of this rally, and also hearing some of the voices and seeing sweet Ashley Babbitt marching and speaking to the camera. It was really heartrending, and I appreciate your bringing this whole thing to light. And now I've got to ask you, Chris, were you there as well as Nick?
Nick and I were there. My whole family was there, and it's kind of a God thing. We didn't even know we were going until 2 days before, and just kind of felt this tug and called up Nick, and I said, man, it's a day in history. I think we're supposed to be there. I think we should record this. And we were there. Wow. And we were blessed to be in different parts of the nation, so we had all these great perspectives, and we didn't know we'd end up making a movie about it, but we did, and I think I got this one right.
I love this. I just based on the trailer. I mean,
well, I think what happened with Chris and I, we weren't there necessarily to make a movie. We didn't have that idea in our head at the time. We were just sort of there to see what happened, and we went, not to make a movie, but just because we're great Americans. And after we got done, we, you come home and you see what's on the news, and it didn't match up at all with what Chris and I had seen, and that's when the sort of the germ of the idea began. It's like, why are they lying? We need to find a way to tell the truth about this.
Now, what are some of the things, and either of you can chime in at any time, because you both have firsthand knowledge of everything that went on that day, and I can't wait to see the film. But what did you see insofar as the initial breach of the building? I mean, I heard the word Antifa mentioned somewhere in the trailer. We've heard the FBI mentioned. What is the truth?
Well, Nick was the closest when the first breach happened. We were still watching the president. That's one of the things you find out in the movie, that not only did the president's words not inspire any violence, people were breaking into the Capitol while the speech was still going on. So we were still over a mile away when that first happened. As far as FBI and Antifa, we saw and filmed people who had changed clothes from black bloc clothes to MAGA clothes, and then they tried to get us to attack the Capitol Police. We called them out for not being MAGA. They took off. And when we went to report their activities to FBI that was on the ground, they said they were simply not interested, that thanks, but we're good. So it was a real big disconnect between what we experienced and what FBI Director Ray and the mainstream media would have you believe.
And I saw, personally, I was on the other side of the building, and I saw the police move the barricade so that people could go towards the Capitol building. I saw them invite people in. We have testimony from people who basically saw people going in, went to the entrance and asked the police if it was all right if they were there, and the policeman said yes. So on one side, you have the police firing tear gas into the middle of the crowd and flashbangs and stuff. And on the other side, you have the police just sort of welcoming people into the building. None of it makes any sense.
And the media, you're absolutely right. The media is completely derelict in their duty. I'm convinced, after hearing Norah O'Donnell again on CBS News last night saying, well, that was the date of the insurrection, and Joy Reid, night after night after night, all she can talk about is racism and the insurrection of January 6th, and how these people who are still imprisoned, by the way, need to be held because they tried to overthrow the government. Was there any sign whatsoever on January 6th that anybody was trying to overthrow the government?
I mean, I always tell it like this. We were there in the morning and people were singing songs and saying the Star Spangled Banner and the Pledge of Allegiance, and most of the people there were my age or older. I mean, if I'm going to have an insurrection, I don't want some old guys like me doing it. What are we armed with? Blood pressure and polygrip? It doesn't make any sense. So, this whole idea that they keep trying to sell, that
Yeah.
this was an armed insurrection and the worst thing that's happened to America since the Civil War. Just isn't supported by the facts. Nobody had any weapons.
No, nobody had any weapons. And as you pointed out, that people were breaking in, they were breaching the Capitol while Donald Trump's speech was still going on. And he, in fact, we carried the speech as he made it on that day, on Inauguration Day. Not inaugural. Was that? No, that wasn't inauguration.
No, that was January 6th was just the day that the Senate was meeting to decide whether or not to accept the election result.
Right.
Which, just to make another point, that was what we wanted to happen. That was what we were there to witness.
Right.
Why would we want to breach the Capitol? And I'm talking we as someone who supported the president. Why would we want to breach the Capitol to stop the process that we came there to make sure that it happened? None of that makes any sense.
It does not. And he said, you can march to the Capitol and peacefully let your voices be heard. Donald Trump said those words, yet the media completely ignores it. And you've got AOC who does this Hallmark type 90-minute movie about how scared she was in an office building removed from the Capitol. She was hiding behind the door. And this was the most hideous display of self-centerism I've ever seen. So she does that. She says then that Ted Cruz is trying to kill her. Nancy Pelosi says they're trying to overtake the government. They came to hang Mike Pence, and all the rest of the things we hear. Yet the only 4 people who died from violence were all Trump supporters, including Roseanne Boyland, who I'm sure, I don't know if either of you were near that when it happened, and of course, Ashley Babbitt and a couple of other folks. Brian Sicknick, by the way, not one of them, as the media said for weeks, he was hit by a Trump supporter with a fire extinguisher. Just lies. Journalism is dead.
Yeah, so the Brian Sicknick thing, that's a big thing to take a look at, because for 3.5 months, the FBI and the media ran with the fact that he was bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher when they knew within hours of his death that it was natural causes. Another thing that's really weird and suspicious about that is when you look through all the footage of that day, you actually see fire extinguishers placed on the steps of the Capitol building. I've been going to the Capitol building for decades. Until that day, I'd never seen fire extinguishers just haphazardly left out on the steps. So all that stuff it just smells, and there's so much of that happened that day, and the control of the narrative is so immense. I mean, it's like Joseph Goebbels said, you create a big enough lie, repeat it often enough, it becomes the truth.
Right.
They have to push that the couple of hundred people that they showed storming that was the whole crowd. I mean, how many people, you've watched the mainstream media, how big do you think that crowd was from the images that they've showed you?
Oh, you would think it's enormous inside the Capitol, but I saw your drone footage in the actual trailer of the crowd outside that was just peacefully there watching what was going on.
Why is it the mainstream media has never showed America the crowd of 2 million peaceful people that were praying? And Trump's speech, why did they re-edit the speech to make it seem like he advocated violence? Now, that's not fake news. That's propaganda. That's agenda.
It is. It's American Pravda. It truly is. And I think there should be, I'm not one for just willy-nilly adding amendments to the Constitution, but I think there should be some sort of a law that says if you are going to present yourself as news, you must be objective. And propaganda cannot be labeled as news, because the weak among us think, oh, well, they're objective. They're calling themselves news. MSNBC, despite what Chuck Todd says about them not editorializing, is not news. They are 24/7 Pravda, and much of the same for CNN, who admitted to the Veritas Project that they are a propaganda outlet. So there you have it, by their own admission. And people still keep drinking the Kool-Aid. And I love that you're doing this, and I hope... No, you go ahead.
That's something that should frighten everyone, because Thomas Jefferson basically said, being engaged press is necessary to the operation survival of a free republic. And that without that, we're not free. And so if we've lost a free and engaged press, that bodes very unwell for the future of the United States of America.
And this, the January 6th lie is just another in a series. They've been lying to us about everything all through the Trump presidency, the Steele dossier, the riots in 2020, the vaccine. They've been lying about so many things. January 6th is just an opportunity for us on the other side to show exactly how they have been lying to us, to show what the propaganda is like, and to show what the point of it is. I mean, that's one thing that's discussed in our movie too, is why they are doing this, because that was a big question we had going in. Why are they lying to us? What is the purpose of this? And when you start to see that, and you start to see how the media is compliant, that's when it kind of gets to the point where you're a bit frightened about the direction our country is headed.
Amen. Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard. Capital Punishment coming on Thursday. CapitalPunishmentTheMovie.com. Now, you both, as clearly you are patriots. Why do you think the left is the progressive left? I don't want to, there are some objective liberals, some garden variety liberals out there who you and I grew up with, and we understand they are all against this woke progressivism, but they are, because they've got a D by their name, by proxy, they are kind of lumped in. But why do you think so many people on the far left either don't see what is going on, they don't see the ruination of the country through incidences like January 6th, or they just don't care and they think it's a good direction? Which is it, and why do you think?
Well, I think that a lot of people on the left have been conditioned through decades of academia and the sort of the educational system has sort of conditioned these people to accept what they're told. And what they have done on the left is that for decades they have demonized anybody that disagreed with them. We're not just, as Evan Sayet says in the movie, we are not just decent, loving, kind Americans who happen to disagree. By disagreeing with the Democrats, you are automatically racist, white supremacist, evil. You are just an evil person. And so much of that has taken with people on the left that they accept it as truth. It's just reinforced every day by the media that everybody who voted for Trump is some sort of racist, white supremacist terrorist. And in order to counteract that, the only way to counteract it really is to say the truth, say it often, say it out loud, and don't let them categorize you in such a way.
Absolutely. Well said. And racist, I mean, there is no more potency to any of these, racist, xenophobe, homophobe. Those used to be very hurtful and potent words when used on people because they carried some weight. And there might have been, people might have thought, am I racist? What do I do that's, and they might have done some introspection. But because everybody is now considered a racist, it's like a throwaway garbage word. It means nothing. Now, I've got to ask you, did you go inside, either or both of you and your crew? I don't know how many crew members you had, but did you go inside the Capitol to do some filming, or did you rely on people who did filming inside in place of you?
We didn't go inside.
We didn't go
Go
inside,
ahead,
but thanks, Nick. As you're going to see in the movie, you went inside the Capitol. Difference as to whether or not you were arrested. There's people in the movie that got arrested for praying at the Capitol. Coy Griffin, who is a Otero County commissioner out of New Mexico, he was praying to multitudes of people. He got thrown into jail for 9 days without a phone call to his family, to his attorney. I mean, this is the stuff that's happening in this movie, that you're going to meet these people. This is third world. This is Venezuela. This is Cuba. This is the Ukrainian color revolution, and it's the Egyptian color revolution. You would never think these things would happen in the United States of America, but they are. You're going to meet 12 and 13-year-old girls that woke up to a war house with flashbangs and 20 FBI guys breaking down the front door, throwing a 13-year-old girl into handcuffs and dragging her out of her bedroom out into the cold for all our neighbors to see. This is, and I don't say this lightly. My dad was 109th Session FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. But the things that have happened to American citizens by our own FBI on our very own soil are truly frightening. These are the psychological warfare operations that you would see perpetuated in Afghanistan or in Iraq, but it's happening right now in the United States of America to our own citizens. It's truly frightening.
Yeah, we interview a number of people in the movie that have had their doors broken down by the FBI, and none of them went in the building. And the only people that did go into the building are in the movie that are in our movie are two 74-year-old women who asked permission and talked to the Capitol Police while they were inside, and they still got visited by the FBI, who threatened them, called them domestic terrorists, and told them they'd be on a no-fly list. So, none of these kind of persecutions that the government is carrying out on these people have anything to do with whether they went in the building or not. They're being punished for dissent. They're being punished for just showing up there and voicing their opinion, which is what they are trying to deter. That's what the government wants to scare everybody and say, don't do this or this could happen to you.
Wow. And this was still Bill Barr at the time. This was before America Garland. And where do you think these people, the Capitol Police, the FBI, where did they get their marching orders from? What chain of command? Because it was different at that time. Or maybe this was later, after the inauguration and after Merrick Garland.
Well, that's hard to prove, and that's the thing. When you're a criminal and you're good at it, it's hard to prove what you're doing. Right. So
yeah,
it's hard to say exactly. I mean, we have our suspicions about where it came from,
right from the top.
One people should pay attention to is the behavior of the Capitol Police, and you're going to see in the film. There's police work 101 stuff you do to prepare for a big event like this. The barricades you would put up, right. The things you would clear. You wouldn't leave around fire extinguishers. You wouldn't leave around construction materials, 2x4s, that sort of stuff. Yet that stuff was all done. So that's a disconnect from the way law enforcement usually handles crowds, the way it was handled. And then you see you see how people their constitutional rights are being trampled, not only having their doors broken down, but also in their right to a speedy trial. They're still in prison. And then you see Nancy Pelosi wanting her Capitol Police to extend out of the District of Columbia, to put Capitol Police offices in Florida and California. Why? Because there's still so many insurrectionists that they haven't arrested. Now, this is happening at the same time in the United States of America that local law enforcement is being defunded and broken down. So right. When you local state law enforcement to replace it with enforcement, history has shown us before that, in states like where money, that didn't turn out so good. And it's really happening right now in the United States of America.
It is. It's shocking. It really is shocking what's going on. And I think this movie is going to bring a lot of stuff to light. I hope everybody watches it. We're talking with Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard. It's Capital Punishment. And you can get go to capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. That's capital with an O. And it's what, $9.99. You can get your reservation right now, and it starts on Thanksgiving Day, right?
That's exactly right. $9.99.
That's unbelievable. And now how $9.99. Call now. $9.99. Operators are standing by. So how long does the movie run? What is the runtime of it?
It's 90 minutes, and we get to get in and get out as quickly as we can. But what I really want people to take away from this movie is just, no matter what side of the fence you're on, look at what the FBI is doing to your fellow Americans and decide for yourself. Do you think this is right? Do you think this is the way these people should be treated?
Absolutely. And I would hope the answer is a resounding no. But there are those among us who love the control. It's easier that way. Government will take care of you from cradle to grave. That's Marxism. That's socialism. And by the way, and listeners know this, and I know you know this, there is no such thing as democratic socialism that doesn't lead to communism. It just is a fact. And that's the road we're headed down. And it's not too late to save our nation. What do you think, as true American patriots, what do you think it's going to take at this point? How do we wake people up?
Well, you make really cool movies that should be nominated for the Academy Awards that show people the truth. They get it and they go, "Oh, I've been lied to. We need to stand together and do something." I mean, make no mistake, we're in an information, knowledge is power, and we're in an information war. And the truth is never afraid of a lie, but a lie cannot stand up in the presence of truth. And that's where we are right now. So what we need to do is we need to have an awakening in this country, and we need to get to a tipping point of truth. If you get 80% of America to see, hey, we really are being lied to. And if they're lying to us about something as basic as what happened on January 6th, what else are they lying to us about? And when they see the film and they see that January 6th just didn't happen by accident, that this was years in the making, it'll give them a better understanding of how we've all been manipulated and lied to. And you know, like I say, this is not a war that you fight with muskets or AR-15s. This is a war that we win standing together, standing in truth, and just we're not going to take it anymore.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely well said. And you're right. You're absolutely right. This has been in the making for years. I think Donald Trump put things on the fast track. They've for many, many years now been gradually moving us more towards socialism, using some of the rhinos among us, some of the Republicans in name only, the conservatives who want to go along to get along, using them as useful tools to get to their ultimate goal, their end game, which is power and control. Donald Trump, with his love for America and America First policies, was setting them way back too fast, and they didn't like it. So for 4 years, they pushed, and they pushed hard. And I believe you're right. My theory is the impetus for the so-called insurrection had nothing to do with Donald Trump's speech or Donald Trump supporters, had everything to do with the power structure and the very powerful, I believe they and the mainstream media incited this violence long before January 6th ever got here. They were pushing us toward a tipping point. And I think the FBI and Antifa and whoever else you believe played a role in January 6th in the breach of the Capitol. I think this was all started by the powerful and had nothing to do with real freedom-loving Trump supporters, because we know we don't do things like that's not how we play the game.
Yeah, and you'll see in the movie, a number of very suspicious characters who obviously look like FBI informants. They don't look like legitimate, run-of-the-mill Trump supporters. And you'll see, I mean, there were people there that for whatever reason were inciting the crowd forward. And most of them were confronted by the crowd and saying, no, we don't do that. And a lot of what caused the violent entry into the Capitol was caused by the police firing tear gas and flashbangs into the center of the crowd, driving them forward. If they were trying to keep them from coming into the Capitol, why wouldn't they fire at the front of the crowd?
Right.
No, they fired into the middle, and they forced those people forward to get away from the violence.
And they said they weren't going to use anything, percussion grenades or anything like that, but I believe one of them actually killed one of the victims, right? Was it a concussion grenade that killed one of the victims?
I'm personally not familiar with that.
Yeah, I can't tell you that happened. Fellas in our movie got hit in the chest with a concussion grenade. He's pretty big. It was a tough hit to take. And you'll see concussion grenades being launched in the crowd. You also hear about a 13-year-old girl that was woken up by concussion grenade in her house and breaking the back door and the plate glass window. And it was so loud that this 13-year-old girl hearing was gone almost all the way up to the time that they put her in handcuffs. I mean, that's pretty dumb to take away somebody's hearing, especially a little kid.
Unbelievable. We're in a troubling place right now, but thank God for people like you. Now, do you get a lot of pushback? I've got to ask you, from your Hollywood friends for this type of activism?
if they do, they don't do it in person, so I don't know. I mean, I've been busier this year than I've ever been. I did 2 movies back to back outside of this, one with Gina Carano and one with Nicolas Cage, and so I try to just ignore them. I mean, I'm sure there are people in Hollywood that don't want to work with me because they don't like politics, but frankly, I probably don't want to work with them either. I'd rather spend my time with people that I enjoy, and to make films that mean something and not just the usual dreck that you get on Netflix from the Hollywood left.
Absolutely. Now I've got to ask you, being a fan, Nick Searcy and Nicolas Cage. I've got to love that pairing. So what's this movie about? Can we get a little inside information?
Well, it's a movie called The Old Way. Nicolas Cage. It's his first Western. After all these years, Nicolas Cage finally does a Western. And it's kind of a nice throwback Western. Nicolas Cage is out to avenge the murder of his family, and I'm the kindly old marshal who's going, you need to let law enforcement take care of this, son, kind of thing. So,
that's great. When's the release on that one?
I'm not sure. I'm sure both of these movies that I did will come out sometime in the spring of next year. But it's funny, just as a coincidence, I did both of these movies in the same town in Montana, one after the other, sometimes using the same sets.
Wow.
So it was kind of fun. And that's why I look like this. I've been, that's why I look like Gabby Hayes. I've been.
Well, I saw you pop up on the screen, before the interview, and I said, is that Nick Searcy with a beard? And
yeah, well, I'm trying to hide. I'm figuring the FBI's coming after me as soon as this movie gets released.
Well, that's not a bad idea. The Witness Protection Program.
Yeah, it would have made a great ending if they had come after me. We would have had a great ending to the movie.
No kidding. That would have been made to order. Absolutely. You guys are great. And by the way, I've been told by the head honcho at Right America Media that all of their shows, all of their people are going to be pushing hard for this movie, for everybody to get out, everybody to see it. Get on and reserve a copy today. Is this going to be widely available on any of the streaming services, or?
Well, not at first.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah. Not at first. It's only at capitalpunishmentthemovie.com for the first few weeks. And we'll see. It might have a life after that. But, that means getting it past the gatekeepers on the left to get it onto one of the mainstream streaming services. And really, there are a lot of other streaming services that are beginning to pop up. And that's part of the point. We have to build a new Hollywood. In order to do that, we have to build a new way to distribute films. And capitalpunishmentthemovie.com is sort of an experiment in that way. If we can make that successful, it'll be a new model for how you can release your films directly to the audience without having to go through the gatekeepers in Hollywood.
I absolutely love that. And that's the way to do it. I mean, freedom is being heard, and there's no question about it. And we sometimes have to shift, modify, and adapt to get there. And Chris, you wanted to say something, please.
Yeah, I think that Nick and I have a really good shot with this movie of breaking Hollywood's Svengali grip on distribution. But America should know that the steps to do this are huge. The censorship is unbelievable. And the 30-second commercial that we have, Nick says in the commercial, I went to D.C. on January 6th because, like millions of other Americans, the election has been stolen. You would not believe the organizations that will not run that ad because what he said, we believe this election has been stolen. This is supposed to be America. We're supposed to have First Amendment rights, but we've had major corporations, and several, refuse to carry this ad because they're too censorship. That should frighten every American, no matter what your political affiliation. And so that's what we're having to fight. And thank gosh for fellas like you and people that are brave enough to stand up and run their shows and tell the truth, because otherwise America would never see this film. If I was the enemy of America, one of the enemies of America, I would be truly frightened of this movie, because this movie sheds the truth of what happened that day. It wakes America up to how we're being lied. And it's tough to inspire. It's tough to control people with fear when they hold the truth. So it should be a very interesting next couple of weeks.
It absolutely should be. It's not going to take me a couple of weeks to see it. I'd see it today if I could, but obviously Thanksgiving Day, it's capitalpunishmentthemovie.com, capital with an O, capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. It's Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard. Now, is it, okay, here's a question. Is it, I've always sort of said Cersei. It's Cersei.
I say Cersei. I don't care if you say Cersei. It's fine. Just say it. I don't care how you say it. Just say it.
I want to say it like you say it.
I say Cersei.
Okay, that's what I'm going to say from now on.
Right.
You guys are great. I really feel a connection with both of you, and any American watching or listening right now has to as well. And I encourage everybody. I'm going to leave the graphic up on the screen for those watching on any of the platforms. We're on a ton of different platforms. But it is Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard, Capital Punishment, coming Thursday. Order now at capitalpunishmentthemovie.com, capital with an O, only $9.99. I, for one, cannot wait. Is there anything else that you want to impart on us that you want us to know is coming up in this movie, another must-see reason, as if there aren't enough already?
Well, I'll just say that along with the gripping information, you're going to find out about what really happened on January 6th and all the people that we show you that have been persecuted by the FBI. There are some really good jokes in it. I make a lot of really good jokes. So, you're going to laugh as well as be shocked.
Well, good. I love everybody. Nobody likes a good laugh more than me. And so this is terrific. This is beyond what I can imagine. Now, have either of you seen Patriot Purge, Tucker Carlson's piece?
I have not had a chance to look at it. We've been so busy trying to put this together. So.
Yeah.
I saw part of it. There's and I think you did a very good job. And, thanks to Tucker, stuff that we knew 7 months ago that sounded like black helicopter conspiracy stuff is now common knowledge. So I think he's done a great job of breaking down that door. One of the people in Patriot Purge is a former DEA agent named Mark Ibrahim. And Mark is in the film. You get to know him quite well. And Mark is probably, or quite possibly, the only person that was armed out of those 2 million people. You'll see how how an FBI informant tried to get him to go into the building. So then you actually could have called it an armed resurrection. And he did not do that, but he was still arrested anyway.
Wow. So do you suppose that's why they were trying to get him to go in, so they could have some truth in advertising when they said armed insurrection?
I don't doubt it for a second.
Yeah, if we can't prove that, but if I was his handler and I was one of the people involved in orchestrating this event, that's absolutely what I would try to do.
And I haven't seen Tucker's movie, but you can tell it's good by the people that are squealing like stuck pigs about it. Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and Jonah Goldberg and Stephen F. Hayes and all the Lincoln Project losers. The fact that they are so upset about it means that it must be pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, I think Adam Kinzinger actually started crying, to be honest with you.
Well, that's in our movie. We give him a little featured spot in the movie to show how emotional he is. Good. Another reason to watch.
So, yeah, I have questions. We could go on all day, and you've been so kind with your time.
And we got up really early, too, for God's sakes.
Yeah, where are you in California, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So are you close to each other? I mean, are you geographically quite a ways apart now, or are you pretty close?
Not far enough. Well,
listen, thank you very much.
We try to keep, there's things that, go ahead, Nick.
We live near each other, not too, but it takes a while.
Do you hang around together? Do you go out to drink every once in a while? Go out I like to, here in Maine, we get a beautiful
public.
Not public knowledge.
I've got enough.
I see Chris quite enough.
Yeah. Well, it's good. You guys are clearly good friends and very comfortable with each other. I love the shirt, by the way. I've got to tell you, Chris, I love that. I love Old Glory. There's a thin blue line. Absolutely awesome.
There absolutely is a thin blue line, and coming from a law enforcement family, most of my friends are law enforcement and military. Pray for them, because this is a very difficult time to be an officer of the law.
Amen. God bless our public defenders, our protectors, our law enforcement, our soldiers, who, and I mean the leftist mob is coming down on them so hard right now, whether it's municipalities and mayors and councils not supporting them, or you've got our generals in the armed forces trying to mandate unconstitutional experimental vaccines or tell them they're racist and get them out. They are trying to stack them. I think they're literally trying to stack our own military so there'll be as few people in the military to go against an uprising by the people as possible by getting any conservatives out. And they know that people who are going to refuse the vaccine are primarily Constitution-loving individualists. And, this is just the way it is. And this is a strong hand of government that is lost on so many people. They just don't see it. Most of them are on the left, but there are a lot on the right that don't understand what's going on. They just aren't paying attention. We've got to wake them up, and this movie is a perfect thing to do it.
Yeah, you have to understand part of their game. What they want to do is to pit us against each other. They are trying to start, they're trying to make us hate each other. That's the whole point of all the media and everything, the division of the virus, the division of calling all the Trump supporters racist. All of that is designed to make us hate each other, and for the government to be then justified in doing whatever they think they can do to people that disagree with them. That's the whole game.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Critical race theory and the attack on parents as domestic terrorists. This is all to instill fear in people who love America. And fear is the most motivating instinct we have. We look for cover. We look for a safe haven. And they instill fear in us, and then the government offers us the safe haven, knowing that many people are going to run to them and look for the handouts, for the safety, for whatever they can get. And it's all part of the means to an end. And I encourage anybody who hasn't to read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. You will see it. You will see it playing out right before our very eyes right now.
Yeah, Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, Clover and Pliven, or even just basic, Communist Insurrection 101, Mao and Stalin. I mean, they all say you need an army of useful idiots. And you can see that playing out in the streets of America today. I want to say, though, you have to commend the Americans for not taking the bait. Enemies of America thought that we would be at each other's throats too soon. That did not happen because we're not stupid. We even if you don't know who's doing it or what the end game and plan is, people can feel when they're being manipulated. And I believe in the intelligence of the American people, despite what they've been doing to us for 60 years.
It's amazing the resilience we have. And it's amazing how we're still despite the fact we have almost every major media outlet out there against us. It's amazing how we find a way to peacefully be heard. And we won't react to fear. We cannot react to fear, because if they drive us to a place where we fear using our free speech, then we're done for. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, if we get to that place, they win.
Exactly, and we're definitely at a tipping point in history where we're going to go one way or the other. Because you talk about fear. Nick and I live in California. Well, you go down into Los Angeles County, you'll pull up at a red light. There'll be somebody pulls up next to you with the windows up. They'll be wearing not one but two masks. Then they'll look at you, and they're sure you're going to kill them, and they'll flip you the bird because they're so scared of everything they've been told. That's when you breed people to be sheep versus empowering them to be free citizens. We need to reach out to all free citizens, and fear's the killer. We just don't need it. And if you're full of faith, there's no room in you for fear. And that's where we're at. All we got to do to win this is just to stand up. That's it. Stand up.
That's right, and Californians had an opportunity to elect a great black man as the governor, and Gavin Newsom. Larry Elder obviously lost. He was actually attacked on the street by one of the mob. Had an egg thrown at him. Gavin Newsom, Governor Hairdo, they call him in the media. He somehow convinced the people that he was the savior of California. All the frightened masses would be protected if they just made sure Gavin Newsom didn't get recalled, and their wish came true. And I'm sure you didn't vote for him.
Well, never underestimate the power of a controlled election. I could tell you stories about voting in California, curl your toenails. My wife went to vote when she first voted for President Trump. They changed. We live in a small town. We used to always have paper ballots and elected by local retired folks. They'd volunteer for that. Then not too long ago, it changed. They brought in all computers. It was all union people coming in from the city of Los Angeles, and my wife could not get on her computer to get Trump on there to vote for him. They had to bring 3 people in to do something to the machine to get her an electronic ballot that actually had Trump on it. And then the last 2 elections, line and check out your ballot, make counts. Both times, both elections, I went on there and said that I wasn't even registered to vote. So my vote never counted in the last 2 elections. And when you live in the state of California and they find convicted felons, passed out at the wheel with thousands of absentee ballots in the trunk of their car, and it just goes uninvestigated, it's not surprising that we still have Gavin Newsom. As Stalin said, I care who counts the votes. Well, welcome to California.
Wow. You're a powerful man. You've got a powerful message. And I'd love to think we could have you on again sometime. I know you're so busy though. But you've blessed us with an hour of your time and freedom-loving American speech, free speech, unapologetic speech, and this great movie, Capital Punishment, capitalpunishmentthemovie.com, capital with an O, capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. That's the website. You can order it right now for $9.99. It comes out on Thanksgiving. It comes out on Thursday. Is it going to if I stay up till midnight, Wednesday night, tomorrow night, can I see it at 12:01?
I believe that's the plan. Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, listen, my friends, you guys are the best. And go right ahead.
I was just going to say, this Thanksgiving, you can kneel with the NFL or you can stand for your country and watch this movie with your family.
I choose the former. I love it. Thank you very much, Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard. It is Capital Punishment coming Thursday. capitalpunishmentthemovie.com.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much. And you guys, and again, Right America Media is all over promoting this, and we're going to promote the heck out of it. And I'm going to keep the caption up on the screen for video viewers so they'll know right where to go to get the movie. Nick, Chris, you guys have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Thank you, John. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.
God bless you. Bye-bye. Couple of great men right there. Couple of great Americans. And we are running low on time, but I'm going to play the what I'm going to do is I'll tell you, we'll take a break and I'm going to let you see the trailer. If you missed it before, I'm going to run the trailer for you again so you will get a feel for what the movie is. Stick around. We'll be right back. This is Legacy 1160. I'm John James. Freedom's Pep Rally is brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
If you love to shop, whether it's for yourself or for others, you've got to visit Town Line Antiques. Because with new items arriving nearly every day, you never know what treasure you may stumble upon. Whether it's vintage signs, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, books, comics, artwork, or classic electronics, you're always sure to find something that tickles your fancy. Plus, there's lots of great furniture, glassware, and household goods. And their vintage Christmas booth is now fully stocked with so many wonderful items. If you're looking for ornaments, lights, stockings, figurines, or any other holiday decor, you've got to stop by to shop this dazzling selection. You'll also find Santas galore with dolls, pictures, ceramics, and more. Or how about a classic Christmas toy like a teddy bear or a truck? Townline Antiques is a great place to find that truly one-of-a-kind gift. Or treat yourself to a trip through some wonderful memories with a present for yourself. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Need a strong, dependable truck to take on the upcoming winter months? Stop in to save on new Ram trucks at Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep during Ram Power Days, going on now through the end of September. Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep, 507 Lakewood Road, Clowes Corner, Madison.
Hi, this is Teresa Smith, Assistant Dean of Enrollment at Kennebec Valley Community College. After nearly 30 years at the college, rarely a day goes by that I don't run into someone who tells me they graduated from KVCC or that their son, daughter, wife, or cousin went to KVCC. What a privilege it is for me to work somewhere that has such a positive impact. KVCC offers the training people need to enter high-demand, high-paying jobs while keeping the cost of education low. Whether you want to earn a degree or just need short-term training to learn a new skill, KVCC's got you covered. Our spring semester starts on January 10th, and I would really love it if you were the next person to say to me, "Hey, don't you work at KVCC?" Please check us out online at kvcc.me.edu or call 453-5822. That's 453-KVCC.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Dry and colder today. Highs will just be in the mid to upper 30s with partly to mostly sunny skies. Will be breezy with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and breezy tomorrow. Highs a little warmer, around 40 degrees. We'll get to around 50 on Thanksgiving with mostly sunny skies, more rain and some inland snow possible Friday.
Thank you Thank you very much, Lexi O'Connor. Sure do appreciate it. And before we take our top of the hour break for news, and we'll come back with another hour of Freedom's Pep Rally, I want to let you see the trailer to Capital Punishment one more time. CapitalPunishmentTheMovie.com, and you can order it right now today. I think I'm seeing a lot of people already have, so that's great to see. We'll be able to talk about it when we come back next Monday. I'll be here tomorrow, but Thursday and Friday I won't. So we'll talk about the movie Monday, and I hope you see it. CapitalPunishmentTheMovie.com. And if you missed the trailer, here 'tis one more time. Check.
Wait. This is treason.
Where's mom? Officer, I can't breathe. I can't even. And hey, man. I'm Nick Searcy. On January 6, 2021, I went to Washington, D.C., along with multitudes of other Americans because we believed that the election was stolen. I saw with my own eyes what happened that day. And what they show you on the media doesn't tell half the story.
Here's the Capitol, and here's people going in there. They didn't show all of this out here.
Did I tell you I have claustrophobia?
I saw people of all colors, races, creeds, Asian Americans for Trump, blacks for Trump. I even saw a guy wearing a shirt that said fags for Trump. And since I'm from California, I knew that guy.
We're from Iowa.
Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm here standing with my fellow patriots. We all standing for America.
Despite what the media tells you, boots on ground definitely say something different. There is a sea of nothing but red, white, and blue patriots.
These are damn working people right here. They want their country back.
We're marching for the Constitution. We're not. It ain't really about Trump. It's about us now. They're attacking us, and we're tired of it.
We had a foreign attack. They had domestic support. This is about individual liberty. We don't believe the media. We don't believe you. We'd have no faith in our institutions.
The FBI is now being sent out by Joe Biden to punish people.
We're at war. They're hunting down Trump supporters like dogs. You say that again. We're at war.
147 days since my wife was murdered, executed.
The FBI, you have a federal search warrant for the property. Come out with your
Step out, I have red dots all over my chest.
They broke the door down. Hands up, put your hands on the wall, hands up.
I was in jail for 4 straight days. I kept banging on the door saying, I have never had a phone call.
The 6th was all deception.
The level of sophistication and tactic is immense.
Oh, I recognize you from Portland. I've seen people from Portland here. Antifa.
I was paid to pretend to protest.
We need to come together as Americans again and remember why we started this country.
An insurrection? Without arms? What are they talking about? And why are they lying?
There you go, capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. And I know if you're listening, there were a lot of instrumental bridges in there, but there was all video to go along with that. But it's all good. And if you haven't seen it, see the trailer. Go to capitalpunishmentthemovie.com, and the trailer is right there. Our guest this past hour, Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard, they produced the movie, and it's a documentary on January 6th, what really happened. And learn the truth. Learn the truth. See the movie. Go to the website, $9.99. You can buy it. You can see it starting on Thanksgiving Day. We'll be right back. I'm John James.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
If you love to shoot guns or just like to keep those skills up to par, you just need to put some rounds down range. At Economy Guns and Indoor Range at 81 Main Street, Madison, you can. No matter the weather, no matter the day. Beautiful, well-ventilated indoor range downstairs, a gun shop upstairs. One stop does it all. Forgot to bring targets? No worries, they've got those too. And when you go in, make sure you say hi to Rosie. Economy Guns and Indoor Range on Main Street, Madison. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, Sunday, 10 to 2.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing, and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Hi, it's Chelsea from Whittemore & Sons, where we are proud to carry Coyote tractors, some of the most powerful, fuel-efficient, technologically advanced tractors ever built. One reason we love Coyote tractors so much is that we have the perfect machine for anyone with any project. Coyote tractors are also easy to learn, so you can start using them effectively right away. Professionals who have been using Coyote tractors for years love that we have in-depth knowledge of all of our Coyote tractors so that they can get the exact machine and implement they need to take on the most important tasks. Check out the full line of Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, with dependable sales and service for over 50 years. If you have questions or want to schedule a pickup, just call 207-474-2591. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
Whittemore & Sons, outdoor power equipment.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Dry and colder today. Highs will just be in the mid to upper 30s with partly to mostly sunny skies. Will be breezy with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and breezy tomorrow. Highs a little warmer, around 40 degrees. We'll get to around 50 on Thanksgiving with mostly sunny skies, more rain and some inland snow possible Friday.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Tom Rivers. President Biden announcing this afternoon that he's tapping into the nation's strategic oil reserves. He's expected to pull out 50 million barrels. Other countries, including India, China, Japan, and the UK, are doing the same. The Thanksgiving travel rush is on. Airports to be their most crowded since before the pandemic. Gas prices more than $1 a gallon more than they were last year.
If you are driving, traffic is going to be pretty difficult to avoid. Tomorrow through Sunday, your best times will be in the morning, think before 11 a.m., or tomorrow night, you could go after 9 p.m. if you aren't driving too far. The worst times are going to be in the heart of the afternoon, basically noon till at least 4 every day.
ABC's Trevor Ault. Jury deliberations will begin today in the trial of 3 white men accused of shooting and killing unarmed black jogger Ahmaud Arbery in Brunswick, Georgia last year. They claim self-defense. This is ABC News. The U.S. Army now says soldiers who fail to get their COVID shots by the December 15th deadline will not be booted from the service, but they won't be able to advance either. No promotions, and they won't be allowed to re-enlist. And NASA tonight getting ready to take a shot at an asteroid. It's a test of an idea that if an asteroid threatened Earth, we could hit it hard with an unmanned craft, knock it off course. ABC's Megan Tabrizian has more on the mission.
The asteroid, which is about 6 million miles away, poses no threat to the planet, and its predictable orbit around a larger neighboring asteroid makes it the ideal setting for scientists to study the effectiveness of the impact. The rocket won't reach its destination for at least 10 months, but for now, all focus is on liftoff. Scientists say they have a launch window of only 1 second. Otherwise, they'll have to wait another 24 hours for the next opportunity.
The launch set for a little after 1 a.m. Eastern. I'm Tom Rivers, ABC News.
Happy holidays don't just happen on their own. You make them happen with a little help from new appliances at the Home Depot. Because warm wishes won't roast that turkey. You'll want a new convection oven for that. An air fryer will help make the season light and delicious. And while you're at it, consider a new LG or Samsung fridge that's big enough to hold all kinds of Christmas cheer. Make the holidays yours with the season's best savings on top appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I love being able to share with our family who's listening how much we all love State Farm insurance. With surprisingly great rates, State Farm has saved us money with our car and home insurance.
I mean, you're my wife. You know how much I love a great deal. So, of course, I'm going to love the great rates and great service at State Farm. It's good for my wallet and for my family.
State Farm meets my needs. Plus, I get to control how and what I want for my budget. And I do it all from their award-winning mobile app.
Surprisingly great rates. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right, so I just ordered my movie. Your movie's on. Capital Punishment, themovie.com. I have got the link that I found. I will share it with you later at legacy1160.com/FPR. So you can watch Patriot Purge. So I think if you see both the Tucker Carlson piece and the Nick Searcy, Chris Burgard movie, you're going to be well schooled in what actually happened on January the 6th. It had nothing to do with an insurrection. It had everything to do with government control over your life. Just say no. 11:06 right now. John James here, Freedom's Pep Rally. Brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. Please share. Please share. Please, talk about us. If you like us. If you don't like us, don't talk about us. Don't talk mean about us. Unless you just have an aversion to the truth. Then I guess they tell the truth. I hate them. Hate them on that radio station. They told too much truth. It hurts the government. We don't want to hurt the government. There are people out there. They won't say that, of course. But there are people out there that don't like the government being ridiculed because it's their God. Why? Because the government allays their fears. Don't laugh at that. You heard what I think Chris Burgard said, that you'd be driving along there in Los Angeles and you pull up beside somebody sitting in their car double masked by themselves. They put their windows up and they flip you the bird because you're in your car maskless, and they're literally that afraid. There are literally people who are just subject to continuous fear, and there are so many different ways the government is using fear to control us. COVID-19 is one of them. COVID-19 is a huge, huge one of them. And the crisis at the pumps is a result of the climate change lie. What are they doing? They're using the climate to instill fear in us, and it works. It's working. I cannot tell you the last time I had a reasonable conversation with somebody who swallows the government line about climate change killing us. They're listening to a derelict like AOC, a communist like Bernie Sanders, and they are putting so much trust in them that they will not hear anything you or I have to say. They are prisoners of fear. And that's what the government's using. That's the emotion they're using to control the masses. And we've got, we may have time to get to it this hour. I've got Dr. Robert Malone, one of the inventors of the mRNA vaccine. Okay, let's do that first. Let's dive right into this, okay? Let's show you how the government is instilling fear. I think this is very important. I talk about it a lot. I talk about the government instilling fear, and I think I do a pretty good job of giving you examples of them doing just that. And there are many people out there who just say, "Oh, conspiracy theorists." Well, that's what the government wants. That's what the government wants. The mainstream media, Joy Reid, every night calls anybody who is a conservative a racist and a conspiracy theorist, because that's what the government wants. So therefore, by proxy, that's what Joy Reid and that's what Chuck Todd, that's what Nora O'Donnell, that's what they all want. So you're being literally hypnotized by the media and by the government officials into believing what they want you to believe. That's brainwashing. That is social engineering. Social engineering. Never seen anything to this extent ever before in this country. Not since I've been alive, and probably my parents, my grandparents. I mean, this, and social media is part of the social engineering. That's a big part of it. That's a huge part of it. When the government wants you to believe a certain narrative, and social media goes along with them by silencing opposition to that narrative, I mean, a critical thinker would say, wait a minute. A critical thinker. Now, this is the difference between us and them. And I'm talking about the progressive leftists who will not hear anything from a conservative. They will cancel you before they'll listen to you. They are being told what to think, what to believe. They are being engineered to love the government and what the government can do for them. It's fear. It is fear, a very potent emotion. 11:11 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. So let's get into the COVID. This is some interesting stuff. We're going to have some time for Waukesha, Wisconsin, too. I've got some very interesting stuff on that front. Dr. Robert Malone. Americans should pay attention to this guy. Should also pay attention to the severe coronavirus-related restrictions on civil liberties in other countries like Australia, Canada, now Austria. This is according to the inventor of the mRNA vaccine technology, one of the inventors anyway. He warns that the virus increasingly, listen to me now, and look around at your friends or people you don't know probably, wearing masks alone in cars, walking their dog with a mask, even now, after they're fully vaccinated. They are so afraid of death. Look, we're all going to die. We're all going to die of something. You're stopping living your life because the government has control of your brain. Wake up! Wake up! Robert Malone, doctor, says the future of global totalitarianism is here. It's just not evenly distributed. He is an immunologist and virologist, by the way. According to WND.com, Malone said in an interview with Steve Bannon's War Room that Austria, the first country to require that every citizen be vaccinated, is the most egregious example of the deployment of a totalitarian approach to the whole thing, of a virus which for the healthy is 99.99999% survivable. Does this make any sense? Critical thinking aside, a moron could figure out this doesn't make any sense. Listen to the dire warning of Dr. Robert Malone on War Room.
We've been quite busy. There's two new organizations. One you can find at globalcovidsummit.org. That's over 13,000 physicians and scientists. The other is the Unity Project. You can find that at the Unity Project online. Unity Project is very much focused on stopping mandatory jabs here in the USA for the pediatric, for the children, which we have impending in California. That one is brought together amazingly. People, classic granola head liberal types from Malibu Canyon, et cetera, and classic conservatives. We're seeing an amazing political realignment in the United States right now. And just to give a shout out, led by a gentleman that I'm sure you've heard of before named Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis and Surgeon General Joe Ladapo, who I met on Friday, are giving hope to the rest of the world. They are listening to the key messages that we're putting forth. They're blocking the mandates. And we also have legislators like in Alaska now starting to advance legislation to stop this practice of hunting physicians, which is coordinated with the large media and with various shadowy organizations that are filing complaints against physicians. In terms of the virus, and the virus is really seems increasingly to be a platform in the jab for advancing other agendas, including political agendas. I like to say, and please quote me on this, the future of global totalitarianism is here. It's just not evenly distributed. What we're seeing in Canada, Australia, Austria now is the most egregious example. Sounds like we may be seeing it in Germany soon, is the deployment of a totalitarian approach to this whole thing. And it is amazingly coordinated. We could, that's another half an hour discussion about how this is happening. But what I think we're seeing with the governments like Austria is the symptom of what Professor Matthias Desmet is talking about more and more, and many of us find a lot of traction in his thoughts. It's called mass formation psychosis. Basically, it's the madness of crowds would be a simple way to put it. And a lot of these governments have been overtaken by this form of psychosis or hypnosis. They believe that these vaccines are effective. They're clearly not. They are impervious to data, just in the same way that we're seeing our own government impervious to actual facts.
Dr. Robert Malone, one of the researchers who invented the mRNA vaccines, on War Room with Steve Bannon. So Steve Bannon says, to be clear, impervious to data is a broad statement. They say that the jab will lessen the severity and deaths. Talk about that, Dr. Robert Malone.
So there's no question that both the jabs and natural infection are very effective at preventing the endpoint of death. There's a very large, well-constructed Israeli study. I think the ends are 16,000 in each arm, selected from over 600,000 patients. Well-constructed, matched, retrospective study that demonstrates that natural infection confers 20-fold better protection from disease than does the vaccine. Both protect virtually in those populations with those sample sizes 100% against death. The effectiveness of the vaccine in preventing hospitalized disease is about 6 to 8-fold lower than the effectiveness of natural infection. What they're completely disregarding, but Ron DeSantis is not, it is built into the legislation in Florida, is the effectiveness of natural infection. And what they're doing, they are obsessed with the potential mortality risk and hospitalization risk. But that is all in the high-risk cohort, the elderly. And that could be almost completely mitigated through early intervention with a wide range of drugs, not the least of which is the monoclonal antibodies. So what they're confronting is a mass hypnosis that somehow the vaccine is the only way out. It is absolutely not. It is not effective, clearly not effective. We have Bill Gates and Tony Fauci on video clearly saying the vaccine is not effective in preventing spread of disease or infection. This is unequivocal. And you're right. What they've been forced into is a modified limited hangout of the last bastion of, well, it protects from death. So does natural infection. I've been double jabbed. We thought, it was just disclosed, this big disclosure that people can get infected after being double jabbed. I got COVID a few weeks ago. I cleared it pretty quick. I've been both infected and then subsequently double jabbed. We're going to have to live with this virus. That is the cold, hard truth. And the problem that we have is this crazy obsession over these vaccines is forcing us into a situation where we're evolving super virus that will blow through the immunity of the vaccine. And then furthermore, for the vast majority of the population, let's get this clear. Your risk of hospitalization and death from this virus, unless you're in one of those very high risk groups, is a fraction of a percent. It's even lower for kids. If your kids are healthy, they have very close to zero risk of hospitalization and death from this virus. Now, if they have pre-existing disease, they may get this virus and they may be in the hospital for that purpose. Yep. It doesn't mean they're getting killed by the virus.
All right, there you go. Dr. Robert Malone, one of the inventors of the mRNA vaccine, on Steve Bannon's War Room. Totalitarianism. I mean, I don't know. I just fail to understand why so many people are in the dark about what's going on here, or refuse to accept that maybe somebody they disagree with could be right and could actually be trying to do them some good. But they're as we talked earlier with Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard, it's useful idiots. That's what they are. Now, you put somebody like that who knows medicine, who understands science, who is one of the inventors of the vaccine that people are making billions and billions of dollars off right now, that doesn't keep you from getting the disease, nor does it keep you from spreading it. Yet they're still making billions of dollars, even as they push for more and more people to get it and mandate it for more and more people, without giving you any other hope with monoclonal antibodies or ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine and zinc. They don't give you any of those. They don't let you hear that. Juxtapose that to the idiots on The View. The Whoopi Goldbergs and the Joey Behars and the Sonny Hostins, who probably go around wearing their triple masked alone in their cars probably, Former co-host of The View and more recently Fox News weekend host Jedediah Bila, she was on The View remotely, and she started sparring with her former co-host, Joey Behar and Sonny Hostin. They cannot believe that Jedediah did not get the vaccine. Did not get the vaccine, even though she has a medical exemption and has natural immunity. You just heard Dr. Malone say natural immunity is 20 times better than vaccine immunity. But they cannot believe that she's not complying with government mandates. Cannot believe it. Jay Behar starts a conversation. And then a very combative Sonny Hostin, who clearly just wasn't listening, gives Jedediah a lecture and she would hardly let her get a word in edgewise. These are just typical bitter, liberal women. When I say typical, yeah, they are typical, and they are ignorant, and they are liberal. Here's Jedediah and The View.
So let's discuss. Yeah. Let's address the elephant in the room, because you were supposed to join. You were supposed to join us in the studios weeks ago, but you couldn't because ABC has a very strict policy. You can't get into this building unless you're fully vaccinated. Everybody in this room knows that and is vaccinated. But you made a conscious decision not to get the vaccine. Now, the CDC says a person is 10 times less likely to be hospitalized from COVID and 11 times less likely to die if they've gotten the vaccine. Okay, so why didn't you get it?
Yeah, so my story is a little bit unique. I'll share that first before I get into those CDC numbers. But
remember, we have only a certain amount of time, Jed, if you want to get everything in.
I have. So I want to let people know why I'm not there. I have a medical exemption to the vaccine that's been written by my infectious disease vaccinated specialist in New York City that's been co-signed by 3 other doctors. I'm not a candidate for this vaccine. I also have sky-high, multi-tiered, multifaceted natural immunity, very, very high, that has also been proven, it has been shown, and it is substantiated by letters from these doctors. So for me, personally, this vaccine poses a greater risk than a benefit. I'm also not a risk to any of you. I know there's been a lot of debate about that, but I have these doctors who've gone on record with that as well. So my point about all of this is that I am not anti-vax. What I really want is for people to make these decisions for themselves. I want every one of you to sit with your family members, to sit with your trusted doctors, and to say, what is the best decision for me? However, I do oppose mandates. I oppose them on the fact that, let's look at the science. This is a vaccine that was created to prevent severity of disease and to prevent hospitalizations. Now, we can have a whole debate on that in itself, but the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID and does not prevent you from transmitting COVID.
Oh, my goodness.
Reality,
well, no,
and we have
that's
seen that.
Not so. Come on. No, you've been at Fox TV
you
too long.
You don't have to listen to me on that. You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to the director of the CDC. You can look at the CDC's website. That is why masks were reinstated for people who were vaccinated, because they said, and they admitted, they came out and said, for this Delta variant, transmission is going to be a thing for vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So I'm not opposed to the vaccine, but I am opposed to the mandate 100% on the grounds of science.
People have died from COVID, including Manny's in-laws. And we've been friends a long time, but Manny's parents, I just don't understand why you would choose to prioritize your personal freedom over health and safety of others. And I just really don't think that we should allow this kind of misinformation on our website.
I am prioritizing.
We've had the United States Surgeon General debunk.
Yes, I heard what he said.
Everything that you've just said, and I just don't think we should allow this kind of misinformation on our air. I'm really sorry,
Sonny,
my friend.
First of all,
I'm really sorry,
Sonny,
my friend.
First of all, I would say to you as a friend, what I just said to you is I am prioritizing my health, and people talk about the common
over
good.
The health and safety
you're not going to have a common good if you're not prioritizing your own health. You have the Surgeon General.
This should sound very familiar to you, Jed.
You can't talk sense to these people. You can't. Was Sonny Hostin even listening as she was lecturing? The Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy. Vivek Murthy. He's not part of the swamp, is he? There is not a clean person in the Biden administration. It is a freak show of totalitarianism. Well, the Surgeon General said, suck up to the government, Sonny Hostin. Go ahead. And it was Joy Behar. Well, that's just not true. Actually, Joy Behar, yes, it is very true. Everything Jedediah Bila said is very, very true, you idiot. If she didn't have a big mouth, she wouldn't have a position. She's just loud and obnoxious. And people at ABC clearly see that as, yeah, we got to get a loud, obnoxious New Yorker on. That'll get our ratings sky high. And they've been very successful. It's amazing how many people watch stupidity every single day, and they regard. Maybe it's just entertainment. Maybe it's just a laugh. I watch it just for entertainment because I shake my head. I shake my head at the stupidity that comes out of these women's mouths. They are literally just ignorant of most everything they talk about. Oh, they aren't political at all, are they? Remember the day they had President-elect Joe Biden on, and Joy said, oh, he's adorable. We love Joe Biden after that other guy we had. And Whoopi Goldberg. I know that sounds like Merrick Garland, doesn't it? Somebody pointed that out. Well, your Whoopi Goldberg sounds like Merrick Garland. Whoopi Goldberg, yeah, that Dr. Jill Biden would make a great Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor. Yeah. She wouldn't refer to Donald Trump as president. She said the guy occupying the Oval Office. So yeah, they're just stupid people. There are stupid people making money off other stupid people who watch. I don't think I'm a stupid person. Where's my money? Maybe I need to be more stupid. Maybe you know what? I could probably make a lot more money if I became a suck up to the left and the Biden administration. But maybe I'll try that. I'll start a brand new channel. I'll shave my goatee off. I'll change my look a little bit and get a wig. Maybe I'll be a long-haired guy. I'll have a double life. I'll have a liberal show. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? That would become a legend. I would literally become a legend if I could pull that off. My voice, that's the only thing, but I think I can change my voice over here. Let me see. I think I can do this. Let me check this out. And what can we do? There we go. Hi there. That's not very believable, is it? Do we have another effect we can use? How about that one? One, is that? No, that's just not going to work. Hello? No, not going to work. Sounds too, I can't make myself sound different, I guess. As much as I try. No, the first one sounded the best. Try that.
There we go. Oh, how about that? Hi there, Joe Biden is the best. If you don't love Joe Biden, you aren't an American. Go Joe Biden. Anybody who says, let's go Brandon, or the other thing that means, well, you should be shot. You should be put up against a firing squad and shot for talking about a great man like that. You're evil.
And then I'd come back on the next day and I'd say, and I would talk about the show that I did the day before like it was another person. It would be great. I would be a legend. But I can't do that. I can't do that because I love America. I love freedom too much. And I have no love lost for Joe Biden or any of the freak show that is his administration. So anyway, yeah, there's the view. The hostile view. The ignorant, numb view. Now let's conflate a couple of things here because there's a reason why I'm conflating Kenosha and Waukesha. And this may blow your mind as well. Hang on just a second here. Okay. All right. So, Kyle Rittenhouse last Friday found not guilty on all charges. The lamestream media went absolutely over the top nuts, melted down. And now you've got a Democrat in Illinois. I think it's an Illinois Democrat who is just out of shape. Well, let's go through this. Let's start at the beginning. According to Republic Brief, after a red SUV drove through the holiday parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Sunday afternoon, killing 5 people and injuring 40, including a dozen small children. Actually, I think the number is 48 now. The first thought that came into an Illinois Democrat's head was not to console and offer prayers to victims. No, this is a woman who you would think has motherly compassion, motherly instinct, just a womanly compassion to her. But no, she didn't offer thoughts and prayers. She didn't offer consolation. No, this was karma for a jury that found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty when he shot 3 white criminals attacking him in Kenosha, which is actually 23 miles away from Waukesha. Now, the woman's name is Mary Lemansky. Let me put a photo of her lovely Democratic face on the screen. Mary Lemansky, the social media director for the Democratic Party in DuPage County, Illinois. By the way, her name has been scrubbed from the website. She displayed one of the most callous and insensitive reactions to the Waukesha parade disaster imaginable. She tweeted 2 things. First one, someone who believes in reaping what you sow. Wisconsin put that bad energy out there. It came back real fast. And then she tweeted, you reap what you sow, Wisconsin. Now, if you're watching on video, take a good look at her. That is an evil person. I bit my tongue. Clearly suffering from some kind of mental illness and should actually have no power anywhere. Doesn't deserve it. You'll be glad to hear that Mary Lemansky actually yesterday, she got her panties in a bunch and she resigned from her post as social media director. And I've got that right here too. There you go. She said in her post, I firmly believe in the right to freedom of speech. I also believe that you must be willing to accept responsibility for the consequences of your actions for that free speech. I unfortunately made some remarks that were not in good taste regarding the Waukesha tragedy yesterday. I'm accepting the consequences of my free speech, and so I have resigned as social media manager of the Democratic Party of DuPage County, and they've accepted my resignation. Mary Lemansky. Oh, she's a real stand-up person, isn't she? It was horrible what happened there. Last night, Rittenhouse was on with Tucker Carlson. I didn't hear the full interview, but I got a piece that I thought you'd find interesting. But before I do that, I want you to hear Tucker Carlson's open regarding the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict and the rest of the evil propagandist lying media. He's very succinct and very, very correct in his assessment. Listen, Tucker Carlson last night.
In retrospect, it's remarkable just how dishonest, how thoroughly and intentionally dishonest the media coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse story turned out to be. All of it was a lie. Rittenhouse was not a white supremacist. He was never in a militia. He never crossed state lines with a firearm. The protest in Kenosha was not peaceful. It was a riot, chaotic and violent. Many of the rioters, by the way, carried guns. Rittenhouse was hardly alone. Rittenhouse didn't go to Kenosha looking for trouble. His father lived there. Rittenhouse himself worked as a lifeguard in Kenosha. On August 25th of last summer, Rittenhouse went downtown to stand guard over a car lot. Here's the context. The night before, police in Kenosha had done nothing as the mob burned businesses, including another car lot, all the way to the ground. So the business owner needed Kyle Rittenhouse's help. He was looking to a 17-year-old for help, if that gives you some perspective on how bad things were, and he asked for it. As Rittenhouse stood there, rioters threatened his life. Then they attempted to kill him. In the end, Rittenhouse shot 3 attackers as he tried to run to the safety of the police. A number of media outlets claimed the men Rittenhouse shot were black. In fact, all 3 were white, and all 3 had serious criminal records. We could go on. Again, the media coverage was, from beginning to end, a tapestry of lies. If you watched the trial last week, you know that.
Absolutely. Oh, there are still some useful idiots out there, some willfully ignorant people out there, and you know who they are. They're all over your Facebook. They're all over your Twitter. They may be at your workplace. Just don't engage them because there's no point. They don't listen. They don't understand objectivity. They have no critical thinking skills. Here's the part of the Tucker interview I found interesting last night. This is actually during the interview with Kyle Rittenhouse. Give it a listen.
How long were you there? I was in jail for 87 days, and this follows in with Lynn Wood, Lynn Wood was raising money on my behalf, and he held me in jail for 87 days, disrespected my wishes, put me on media interviews, which I should never have done, which he said, oh, you're going to go talk to the Washington Post, which was not a good idea. Along with John Pierce, they said I was safer in jail instead of at home with my family. And then after I'm bailed
Your lawyer said that?
My lawyer said that, John Pierce and Lynn Wood.
87 days is a long time to be in jail.
It was very long. I lost a lot of weight in there. I since then gained it back.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. But 87 days of not being with my family, for defending myself and being taken advantage to, being used for a cause by John Pierce and Lynn Wood.
Justice was served, finally. Oh, now Jerry Nadler and the federal government are going to try to overturn it. It's about control. Absolutely about control. Nothing less. Confirms my suspicions about Lynn Wood, too. Despite him being a storied lawyer, he really turned me off early this year, I think it was, when he spoke at an event in Atlanta with Sidney Powell and Vernon Jones. He sounded more like a butthurt preacher than someone who wanted to help make America great again. Very self-serving almost. Very uncomfortable to watch him. It was like he was impressed with his speaking abilities. You remember that? Did you see that? Marjorie Taylor Greene, a freshman congresswoman who, like Wood, is from Georgia, tweeted this out yesterday, and as you know, she's not one to bite her tongue. She tweeted, I've told everyone what a horrible person Lynn Wood is, and if you watched Tucker Carlson tonight, then you heard from Kyle Rittenhouse one of the reasons why I think so. Lynn keeping Kyle in jail instead of bailing him out with all that money donated for Kyle is absolutely evil. Now, Waukesha, after this tragedy in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Sunday, the city's still reeling from this senseless, horrible crime. Darrell E. Brooks, longtime criminal, ran his SUV through a crowd of participants, killing 5, injuring up to 48. Yesterday at a press conference in Waukesha, it's one of those names I'm never going to get right. There was a press conference in Waukesha. Police Chief Dan Thompson stepped up to the mic and he spoke about the incident. Here is Dan Thompson.
I'm just going to recap and provide an update. At 4:39 p.m. on Sunday, November 21st, 2021, a lone subject intentionally drove his maroon SUV through barricades into a crowd of people that was celebrating the Waukesha Christmas Parade, which resulted in killing 5 individuals and injuring 48 additional individuals. I just received information that 2 of the 48 are children and they're in critical condition. We have information that the suspect prior to the incident was involved in a domestic disturbance, which was just minutes prior, and the suspect left that scene just prior to our arrival to that domestic disturbance. When the suspect was driving through into the crowd, one officer did discharge his firearm and fired shots at the suspect to stop the threat, but due to the amount of people, had to stop and fire did not fire any other additional shots. I want to identify the victims that we know of at this time. And I say this with great sorrow. Virginia Sorensen, 79-year-old female. Leanna Owens, 71-year-old female. Tamara Durand, 52-year-old female. Jane Kulich, 52-year-old female. Wilhelm Hospital, 81-year-old male. The suspect involved in this tragic incident is identified as Daryl E. Brooks, male, 39 years of age, who is a resident of the city of Milwaukee. At this time, the Waukesha Police Department is referring 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide with additional charges based on the investigation, but those will come in time.
Chief of the Waukesha Police Department, Dan Thompson. And I believe, at least a couple of the older ladies killed or injured, several injured, likely. They had a group called the Dancing Grannies. Just women out having a good time, bringing cheer and smiles to faces of young people and old alike. And something like this mars the holiday season forevermore for so many families. Also, yesterday, an administrator from one of the hospitals that received 29 patients spoke about the people and the injuries. His name is Alan Jones.
Good afternoon. I am Vice President of Critical Care and Specialty Services for Pro Healthcare. In my role, I work closely with our emergency departments, our critical care units, and our mass casualty incident command process. I'd like to start by expressing my sympathies and those of everyone at Pro Healthcare for the victims and their families. This was truly a tragedy for our entire community. I'd like to thank all of the first responders and the others who came together to do what was required last night. All involved did outstanding work. Among the 48 victims of the parade tragedy who were transported to area hospitals, 29 arrived at Waukesha Memorial Hospital. The hospital is just blocks away from the parade route, and victims started arriving very quickly after the incident. In fact, many of Pro Healthcare's staff were attending the parade, witnessed this tragedy, and provided immediate first aid to victims. There were many children among the victims brought to Waukesha Memorial. After initial assessment, stabilization, and treatment, we transferred 11 of those to Children's of Wisconsin.
And as you know, as was said earlier by the police chief, some of the kids are in critical condition. Absolutely horrible. Daryl E. Brooks was the guy, long criminal record. He's a rapper. He'll be going to prison soon. That's the Rap Hall of Fame, I think. Prison is. I think rapper oftentimes seems synonymous with criminal. His rap name, by the way, is Math Boy Fly. In fact, here's a sample of one of his rap songs. I'm gonna let you hear this. This is the very talented Math Boy Fly. I don't know what the name of the song is. I expected, as I said yesterday, that I expected F-bombs and the N-word to be used throughout, and I wasn't disappointed.
Just got a load worth about a half a ticket. 30 in the blicker when I'm out here chasing chicken. Was observant to the game when I used to play the benches. Now I swipe Da Vinci, got them looking at me different. I can't miss them, yeah. AR with extension, yeah. Venom when I kiss them, yeah. Kidnap you and misses, yeah. Work all in the kitchen, damn. Money by the ceiling fan. Shorty wanna take a chance, I'ma need a cash advance. Only real gritters, and I've been around gorillas ever since a little nigga. You know my babysitter put some price.
Okay, I'm not gonna put you through any more than that. Math Boy Fly. That's a guy that ran over 48 innocent people. I was watching the I think it was David Muir. We put it on ABC last night. You got to see what they're up to, or you don't know what they're up to. You've got to watch them, and then you've got to look for the truth. But they showed, I don't think they showed a picture of the assailant. Maybe they did. I think they said his name, but I don't think they showed a picture of him. Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They showed the truck flying down, and they did a freeze frame as the bumper was coming up against a person. Didn't need to see that. Didn't want to see that. At least they froze it. But it gives you an idea of the horror of what happened there on Sunday as residents of Waukesha tried to celebrate Christmas. Even as Mary Lemansky said, "You reap what you sow." Karma, Wisconsin, as she was insinuating that the Rittenhouse not guilty verdict had everything to do with the deaths and the injuries in the parade. Absolutely deplorable human being, not surprisingly, a lefty. Because that's how they roll, baby. If they got rage, they got nothing. We'll be back. Got to take a break here. This is Freedom's Pep Rally. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
If you love to shop, whether it's for yourself or for others, you've got to visit Town Line Antiques. With new items arriving nearly every day, you never know what treasure you may stumble upon. Whether it's vintage signs, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, books, comics, artwork, or classic electronics, you're always sure to find something that tickles your fancy. Plus, there's a lot of great furniture, glassware, and household goods. And their vintage Christmas booth is now fully stocked with many wonderful items. If you're looking for ornaments, lights, stockings, figurines, or any other holiday decor, you've got to stop by to shop this dazzling selection. You'll also find Santas galore with dolls, pictures, ceramics, and more. Or how about a classic Christmas toy, like a teddy bear or a truck? Townline Antiques is a great place to find that truly one-of-a-kind gift. Or treat yourself to a trip through some wonderful memories with a present for yourself. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future.
with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Dry and colder today. Highs will just be in the mid to upper 30s with partly to mostly sunny skies. Will be breezy with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and breezy tomorrow. Highs a little warmer, around 40 degrees. We'll get to around 50 on Thanksgiving with mostly sunny skies, more rain and some inland snow possible Friday.
Thank you very much, Lexi O'Connor. Welcome back, by the way. 11:31 right now on Legacy, 11:51, sorry, on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Again, the movie opens Thanksgiving Day. It's Capital Punishment. Go to capitalpunishmentthemovie.com. Capital with an O. And it's about January 6th. It is the truth in pictures, in video, in stories, in firsthand experiences. Thank you very much to our guests, Nick Searcy and Chris Burgard, who were our guests last hour for the whole hour, talking about this incredible movie. $9.99. You can order it today. I ordered mine during one of the breaks, actually, last hour. I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget because I want to see it as soon as it's available. Even if I have to stay up late on Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, waiting for the great turkey to come deliver gifts of stuffing and cranberry sauce and drumsticks and wings and breasts. Oh, I love the breasts. I do love the breasts. Hey, if you're looking for a collector's item, this is a good one. And guess what? The left is attacking a small business trying to make some money here. They're trying to cancel it. They're trying to get it destroyed because that's what they do. After the end of the 2020 election, the Democrats use everything in their power to hide the truth, whether it's January 6th, whether it's what happened in Afghanistan, whether it's COVID-19. They keep the truth from their minions, and their minions believe it. They're compliant. Okay, Joe. Okay, Kamala. Whatever you say, this is not a cult. This is not a cult. This is not a cult. It's a cult. Hitler and Marx, they won the hearts of the willfully ignorant, the useful idiots. And they had their way with the people. We've got quite a country here, and we've got a Second Amendment. That should make some of the leftists who understand take pause before they push too much. Well, there's now an attempt to ban another Trump website. They have attempted to ban every pro-Trump website out there because they hate free speech. They hate free speech. They think they are the keepers of all things that can and cannot be said. So they've tried to ban websites. They've banned them on social media. They succeeded in that. Well, they're attempting to ban one website that is selling Joe, you know I won mugs. But this has backfired, as it often does when they cancel and they ban and they boycott. The two, they don't get cause and effect. That's one of the things. There is a disconnect in their brain. They don't get cause and effect. It's a basic theory. You know, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So they attempted to ban the sale of these. As soon as conservatives got wind that the site was being targeted, demand skyrocketed. And the owner, Tyler W., don't know his last name, well, he's not doing too badly in the financial area now. He said, Democrats sure don't know how to get things done. Our small family team is overwhelmed with orders. We're very grateful for all the new business. Our stock is going fast. The Democrats are truly evil, trying to take down a small business in times like these. Yes, they are. Yes, indeed they are. Tyler W. Jenny G., who is, she says, is Jenny G., proud liberal, tweeted out. And by the way, I just saw her handle here. Her Twitter handle is at Love for Kamala. Whoa! Well, somebody's gonna love you. You found the person, Kamala. That gives you a reason to smile, doesn't it? Jenny G., proud liberal, at Love for Kamala, tweeted out, if you have one of these mugs, you are a loser. They are factually incorrect and should be banned off the internet. Should be banned. That's a sign of a true lefty, a true tyrant. Anybody that uses the term should be banned, boycott, cancel. Those are the people who live in fear, the people who can't understand critical thinking, the people with no objectivity, the people who don't understand cause and effect, the people who are this administration's useful idiots. And that's all the time today. Have a great afternoon. I will see you back here tomorrow. Mike Violette here bright and early tomorrow at 6 to start your day the right way. 6 hours of live local talk. We're Legacy 1160. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Hi, I'm Greg from Gregory's Disposal. Dumpsters, dumpsters, dumpsters. Call Gregory's Disposal, 465-4500. We can help. Cleaning out Grandma's attic, or if the kids finally moved out, leaving the junk behind, we have debris dumpsters and many sizes of roll-offs to get the job done quickly and efficiently. Call Gregory's. Call Gregory's, 465-4500. How about remodeling, redoing the roof, tearing off the old porch? Gregory's will bring the right size dumpster at the right cost. Our dumpsters are brown, and we keep our prices down. Call Gregory's. Call Gregory's, 465-4500. Gregory's can also help with your weekly rubbish. We offer many services, including curbside pickup, residential dumpsters, whatever you need. Gregory's is there to help. Call Gregory's, 465-4500. In case you missed it, call Gregory's